Good evening, everybody. Later than I wanted to start, but we are here now. I'm going to take a quick minute to make sure that the stream is properly set up, and then we will jump into Ace Attorney tonight. So I'll just maybe give a caution off the top. Clearly, I struggled a little bit on the... so first of all, it's a visual novel, right? The game is not going to blow up and force me at the very start. So, all that it means is I'm going to... In the worst case, I'm going to wind up, stumbling around on a couple of obvious puzzles. But, hey, Revive Snow, wonderful to see you. I always feel a little bad that I don't properly shout you out whenever I see you at the very end of a stream. And Lord Gloom, good to see you as well. Two wonderful broadcasters. I think you both know each other, so I will save the shout-outs for when I have a bit of a pulse. Sorry, 1 second. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a couple of those sneezes. But very lovely to see both of you. And thank you for stopping by early on. So the idea here is going to be I will... I noticed that I did a bit worse the last time around just because I didn't have that immediate recall of the previous levels. This is my physical objections. And so if we wind up in a weird spot where I might start a new day, but we're sort of halfway through the stream, I may switch to something like Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop just so that I can have sort of these clean breaks between segments. And that's mostly just to avoid those situations where there's like a really obvious solution that I'm letting that's just going over my head because of breaking it up over a few parts. But my intention is definitely to play some Ace Attorney tonight, and the question is just how much. I am so sorry. I was not sneezing until the stream started, and then now it's unstoppable. I did go out to get a coffee, but I don't think that's it. Yeah, allergic to chat. I'm just going to have some coffee, and hopefully I will not spray it out over the screen when... Okay, there we go. Actually, tell you what, I'm just going to step away from the keys for a second. See if we can... Oh, I hope you liked it, Lord Gloom. I know you were... Well, first of all, if you were binging, I'm going to guess you didn't hate binge it. I'm going to be back in just a minute. Yeah, I'm really glad that you enjoyed it, Lord Gloom. I think so. I've had the pleasure of interviewing those developers for some Steam releases as well as promotional stuff on GOG, and I think clearly the two of them together will probably be a better interview than I could ever manage on my own. But they're obviously very smart and very thoughtful people. And specifically to see something like Skeleton Songs, where they are talking about, they're talking about sort of this area that they're working in, but not necessarily just all about their own things, right? So when you say very well read, they're talking about things that they found interesting and how that has a bearing on their own work. And I kind of want to be a little careful in terms of how I say this. I try where I can to get involved. So, in terms of the local, any city that I live in, I try to get somehow involved in the local game dev scene, if only as an observer. And when I can, if I can, I try to get involved in writers' groups. But there can be some difficulties in that. It's like any group, right? There's going to be different people, and there's going to be sort of a range in terms of participation and how enjoyable it is to interact with some of the participants. And one of the things that I find, so I kind of want to be careful about this, because in the end, I think people should, read what interests them and makes them happy and such. But a couple of them I've noticed, it's very obvious that there's a lot of sort of young adult fans there. And again, that's fine, right? You can read whatever you want. I, in most cases, would recommend against a steady diet of only one type of thing, even if you really like it. And this is something that I'm guilty of. So I've definitely had periods where it feels like I have not read any fiction. And I notice it. It comes across in my writing. It comes across sometimes in some of my thinking. And where I can, I try to correct that. So for instance, off of Hellblade 2, I read Beowulf again. And definitely got something out of it that I didn't necessarily get, in previous readings, which is one of the reasons why it's fun to sort of read and reread things, and particularly as circumstance may drive you. But I mean, in the end, the reason why I say that it's kind of really obvious is that because a lot of the material that I read, I won't even say that it's necessarily bad. I've definitely read some material that is very, like, it's very good at engaging. Like from the very start, I'm invested in sort of the action is going, and like this could be very interesting. I think there's some value in that, right? Not everything that has high literary merit has to be boring. And so there's lots of different lessons that you can get from all sorts of different types of reading. However, it's painfully obvious when you do start talking about literature, when when people just have this single diet. There's a lot of talk about rules, and very often there will be, writers whose only output kind of seems to be books about writing, sort of held up as these experts. And like I said, I mean, I tend to find there are more cases where something that wouldn't necessarily be in my wheelhouse, winds up pushing someone in a useful direction. And I think that, this is one of the reasons why I sometimes want to chill out about this kind of talk. But one of the things I really like the most about Skeleton Songs, when you say that it's very well, they're very well read, I like that when you play any of the Weather Factory games, you can definitely feel those influences, but it's very much its own thing. And when you hear them talk about systems that they think are interesting, or, different rules for magic, or, how certain works, just work or don't work. Some of the different ways in which these stories have the power that they do. It's really, really interesting to see people who are that level of talent to be able to sort of talk about the work without it just being reduced down to a set of instructions, right? And I've learned, I think, just particularly because of the different types of groups that I've been involved in, it's something that you can't necessarily take for granted. It's one of the reasons I'm very happy that things like podcasts exist. It can be difficult sometimes to find the right ones. It's a little bit like trying to find the right book to read. You can have all of these situations where, like I've got a pretty full set of bookshelves and many more books that, I can't fit on these bookshelves. It's going to take me a very long time to go through every single one of these volumes. And I mean, hey, it's worthwhile. That sounds to me like a life well lived. But there's a lot of people with podcasts. There's a lot of people transmitting, but not all of them are really worth your time. You want something. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a diversion. Sometimes it's nice to have something a little bit more enriching that will give you a different way of looking at the world. Sometimes maybe what you need is a bit of inspiration or a pick-me-up. But the thing is that once upon a time, to be able to get in touch with someone with that level of talent and to hear that kind of advice. I'm dropping frames, and that makes me sad. Looks like we're back. I'm a bit worried though. But prior to the advent of, I won't even necessarily just say podcasting, but there's, the internet or the wired world. You not only had to be in the same sort of, had to send out the ravens and messenger pigeons. I'm hoping it holds. Like I don't mind doing the long talk at the start just because it gives people a chance to kind of come in, and it's nice to catch up with everybody. But if the long start winds up just being, oh hey, it turns out that the internet's gonna barf and I need to reset, that's no good. But yeah, no, it's one of these things where, once upon a time, to get access to the sort of things that you hear in skeleton songs, you had to have access. Chances are you needed to live roughly in the same area as an author of that kind of talent. You somehow need to get access to them. You had to be at least enough on the same wavelength, to have a useful conversation with them. And assuming that all of that stuff kind of turned out, right? That's already a fairly strong set of assumptions. You then had to have, the means to implement it. Which again, we've had the ability to write for a while, so I don't want to try and suggest that that's impossible. But it's great. It's just like if you go online, like if you want to see the game design documents for some absolutely groundbreaking games, they're available online. There's a design doc for Diablo, and in fact, reading that, they had a plan for DLC before DLC was a thing. One of the ideas for that game was that you'd have the impulse purchase section of the a supermarket or whatever, and you could buy a disc with like 10 new items on it to add to the inventory pool. That was part of the design doc. Now, clearly that wasn't implemented inside of the game. And in fact, there isn't sort of a DLC model like that in any of the Diablo games. I know there was the Real Money Auction House that they tried in Diablo 3 originally. But, you get to see what the journey to this this really I didn't realize EB Games was around when Diablo came out. But yeah, the now I guess it's an investment vehicle for whatever that meme stock guy. Anyways, no, I'll leave him in the box. But yeah, but it's just one of these things, right? Like being able to access this kind of knowledge, and again, just being able to hear, like, there's the joy of something like Skeleton Songs is just hearing a couple of really bright people who are good conversationalists nerding out about something that they really love is enjoyable on its own, but it just happens to be such an educational podcast on its own. And I contrast that because I've been trying to listen to a few more. I tried listening to one by was it AZ16 or A16Z, the Andreessen Horowitz one. It's there are a couple that I thought were like a little interesting, but it's just a bunch of people incredibly impressed with themselves and cannot stop reminding themselves about how, how important they think they are. And, I'm not even going to say that these are not people who, like, they clearly have accomplishments and they are clearly doing important things in the world. But the information transfer is so low compared to some of the other stuff that I listen to. I've enjoyed the Foreign Affairs podcast that they have out. They've sort of changed the lineup a little bit, but those are definitely ones that I like making the time for. But I don't know. I realize Weather Factory is busy on a lot of things that they're doing, so I don't think we'll get more skeleton songs, but that's definitely one that I pretty much drop everything and listen to now. Anyways, you've all been very patient with me. Let's go to day 3 of Turnabout Sisters. September 7th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 1. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Maya Fey. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Miles Edgeworth. I'd better not show any signs of weakness today, or he'll be on me in an instant. Oh, okay, so looks like we get to redo this all over again. Mr. Edgeworth, please give the court your opening statement. Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant, Miss Maya Fey, was at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has evidence she committed this murder, and we have a witness who saw her do it. The prosecution sees no reason to doubt the facts of this case, Your Honor. I see. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Let's begin then. If we may call our first witness, Your Honor. The prosecution calls the chief officer at the scene, Detective Gumshoe. Witness, please state your name and profession to the court. Sir, my name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm the detective in charge of homicides down at the precinct, sir. Detective Gumshoe, please describe for us the details of this murder. Very well, sir. Let me use this floor map of the office to explain. The body was found by this window, here. And the cause of death? Loss of blood due to being struck by a blunt object, sir. The murder weapon was a statue of the Thinker found next to the body, sir. It was heavy enough to be a deadly weapon, even in a girl's hand, sir. The court accepts the statue as evidence. I'm still calling it a statue. Now, Detective. Yes, sir. You immediately arrested Miss Maya Fey, who was found at the scene, correct? Can you tell me why? Yes, sir. I had hard evidence she did it, sir. Detective Gumshoe, please testify to the court about this hard evidence. As soon as the phone call came in, I rushed to the scene. There were 2 people there already. The defendant, Miss Maya Fey, and the lawyer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I immediately arrested Miss Maya Fey. Why? We had a witness account describing her. The witness saw Miss Maya Fey at the very moment of the murder. The very moment, you say? Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examine what? I can see a single contradiction in that testimony. Hey, Maya just threw something at me. What's this? When my sister couldn't find any contradictions in a witness testimony, she would bluff and press the witness on every detail. The witness always slips up and says something wrong. It worked lots of times. I should have expected Maya would know some of her sister's tricks. All right, let's give this a try. Something the matter? No, Your Honor. I'd like to begin my cross-examination. As soon as the phone call came in, I rushed to the scene, so I kind of half remember some of this stuff. I do remember someone being a bit irritating in chat more than the actual moments, but That reminds me, actually, if you can just give me a quick second. Oh dear. Sorry, this shouldn't take too long. Okay. Sorry about that. And there were two people there already. The defendant, Miss Maya Fey, and the lawyer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I immediately arrested Miss Maya Fey. Why? We had a witness account describing her. The witness saw Miss Maya Fey at the very moment of the murder. Alright. So we'll see if, Why is that? Why is your reason? Why? We had a witness account describing her. Hold on just 1 second. Yeah? If I heard correctly, you said you arrested her because you had hard evidence she did it, correct? Huh? Did I say that? Me? I heard you say it. You did say it. Exactly what about the suspicious woman in pink's claim was hard evidence? What? Miss May isn't suspicious, and she sure isn't pink, pal. Well, I guess she is pink. That's enough, Detective Gumshoe. Do you have any more solid proof other than her claims, Detective? I guess pressing can have its advantages. Yes. Sorry, I got the order of things mixed up in my testimony, Your Honor, sir. There was something I should have told you about first, Your Honor. Very well, Detective. Let's hear your testimony again. After securing the suspect, I examined the scene of the crime with my own eyes. I found a memo written on a piece of paper next to the victim's body. On it, the word Maya was written clearly in blood. Lab test results showed that the blood was the victim's. Also, there was blood found on the victim's finger. Before she died, the victim wrote the killer's name. Alright, we can't do that yet. How do you like that? That's my hard evidence. Before we begin cross-examination, I have a question for you, Detective. Your Honor? Why didn't you testify about this vital piece of evidence the first time? I know. I'm real embarrassed I forgot about it, Your Honor, sir. Try to be more careful. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. After securing the suspect, I examined the scene of the crime with my own eyes. I found a memo written on a piece of paper next to the victim's body. On it, the word Maya was written clearly in blood. Lab results showed that the blood was the victim's. Also, there was blood found on the victim's finger. Hello, Isis TARDIS. How are you doing? I feel like it's been a while. pleasure to see you, as always. Folks, for those of you who do not know Is This TARDIS, actually, I can probably do this in the order now. So Revive Snow came in first. Revive Snow is a lovely broadcaster who does both VTuber but also text-to-speech. So I always kind of joked about being a camless, voiceless streamer. It turns out that it's actually a really good show, and that is called Revive Snow. I originally found Revive Snow through Brace Yourself Games' Phantom Brigade, which was great. On top of that, we've got Lord Gloom in here. So Lord Gloom found me through Cobalt Core, which is a Brace Yourself publishing game. That was also a lot of fun to find. Now, Lord Gloom definitely plays a lot more of the deck builder style games, although he's also been branching out. He's been doing, Magic the Gathering would be the deck builder, but War Thunder and Escape from Tarkov. I've definitely been seeing some more. Hey, Diluted Daybreak, good to see you. So we've got, I think I saw Tarkov was the most recent one I saw, at least. Also, Lord Gloom was talking a little bit earlier about Skeleton Songs, so definitely joining the interest in Weather Factory's material. But on top of that, we've got Is This TARDIS, who, now so far as I can tell, you're not a broadcaster, but I do know Is This TARDIS through Kilgore Trout's stream. So Kilgore Trout is a broadcaster on the GOG stream team, as well as a broadcaster on his own channel, does a lot of classic games. We should be able to do that there. But I'm always happy to see Is This TARDIS, just because it's one of the, it's always nice to hang out with broadcasters that you like, but it's very much the communities that make them, and Is a big part of one of the reasons why Kilgore's channel was so enjoyable to hang around with. Started a new job where you fly north for 14 days to do office administration for a trucking jet fuel camp company. That is... I have a couple of friends who do something along those lines. It seems to pay quite well, but it requires a strong stuff, and I will definitely say better you than me. I hope you're enjoying it, but I can now see why we may be passing each other in the night occasionally. And last but not least, Diluted Daybreak was in fact broadcasting today, and I do feel rather bad I didn't get a chance to stop by and say hi, but that was because I was struggling to get my own broadcast up and running. But Diluted Daybreak, I think found me through the Rift of the Necrodancer demo. Absolutely wonderful to have Diluted around in the channel, but I checked out the broadcast, and on top of playing Rift of the Necrodancer at a very, very high level, I'll say that Diluted Daybreak is a big Elder Scrolls fan and is really enjoyable to watch on that front. I've seen both Oblivion and Morrowind, although I've not yet seen the Oblivion remaster. And on top of all of that, I will also say that Diluted is a smart cookie, as is evidenced by work in the hard sciences. Just finished your first rotation. Yeah, no problem, Revive Snow. I realize I kind of blasted everybody out there, but this is the drawback about having a lot of talent inside of the channel. I don't want to give anybody short shrift. But it's wonderful to see all of you. All right. We are now ready to present the evidence. Detective Gumshoe, there's one thing I want you to clarify for me here. You say that the victim, Mia Fey, wrote this note. That she was accusing the defendant, Maya Fey. That's really what you're saying. What? This isn't one of those lawyer tricks now, is it? Of course she wrote it. Who else could have? You have it backwards, Detective. Backwards? The victim is the only person who absolutely could not have written it. This is a report from your department, Detective. Immediate death due to a blow from a blunt object. She died immediately. But no butting your way out of this one, Detective. Order! The defense has a point. Someone who died immediately wouldn't have had the time to write anything down. Mr. Wright, I beg your pardon, but when exactly did you obtain that autopsy report? When? I think it was the day after the murder we did last time. It was the day after the murder. Prosecution's point being that autopsy report is outdated, Your Honor. What? A second autopsy was performed yesterday at my request. Death was almost immediate due to a blow from a blunt object. So I should actually say so I'm playing this because Vesper Fortune gifted this. I don't normally do visual novels, so it's fine. I didn't quite appreciate when I first started playing it how this game doesn't really take itself seriously. Like, it does sort of lean into some of its absurdity, which I like. It was a little rough last time because there's someone who really just could not countenance, me getting distracted or trying to sort of reconnect with the game, which is always a tricky one for me to deal with. But again, where possible, you want to focus on the people who make you happy in the broadcast rather than not. And it's nice on this in the sense that there's not a whole lot. Like, I think if you try to brute force your way through, it's probably going to be miserable. But it seems to be pretty safe in terms of keeping you from doing anything too catastrophic. So, but yeah, I'm largely unfamiliar with the series, so I'm pleasantly surprised by how charming it is. So death was almost immediate due to a blow from a blunt object. But there is a possibility the victim lived for several minutes after the blow. I received these results this morning. No way. Your Honor, it's quite easy to imagine the victim did have time to write Maya. That is all. I see. Damn you, Edgeworth. I should have known you'd have something up your sleeve. Why, Mr. Wright, you look shocked. Something you want to say? Detective Gumshoe, you're a sham. How could you give me a faulty report? Huh? I thought... Detective Gumshoe. I'm disappointed in you, handing him the wrong report like that. Huh? I'm sorry, sir. You are at fault, Detective. This isn't going to look good on your evaluation next month. What? But... Your Honor, I submit this report to the court. Understood. The court accepts the evidence. Maya's autopsy report died from a blow by a blunt object and may have lived for a few minutes after being hit. Well, Your Honor, the evidence strongly suggests the victim was identifying the killer. I suppose that's the obvious conclusion, yes. Darn, this isn't good. The prosecution would like to call its next witness. This poor innocent girl saw the murder with her own eyes. Let the witness, Miss April May, take the stand. Exactly what part of her is innocent? Witness, your name, please. April May, at your service. Order! An introduction should not require any reaction from the crowd. The witness will refrain from wanton winking. Aw, yes, Your Honor. This is not good. She's already captured the heart of every man in this courtroom. Tell us, where were you on the night of September 5th when the murder occurred? Gee, I was, in my hotel room? I checked in right after lunch. And this hotel is directly across from the Fay and Company law offices? That's right, big boy. Please testify to the court about what you saw. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I looked out the window, you know? And then, I saw a woman with long hair being attacked. The one attacking her was the mousy girl sitting in the defendant's chair. Then the woman, dodged to one side and ran away. That girl, she caught up to her and she hit her. Then the woman with the long hair, she kind of slumped. The end. That's all I saw. Every little bitsy witsy. Well, Your Honor, I see. It is a remarkably solid testimony. I don't see a need to trouble the witness any... Wait, Your Honor! Yes, Mr. Wright? What about my cross-examination? I thought the witness's testimony just now was quite firm, don't you? Mr. Wright, I understand you were Miss Mayafay's understudy, were you not? You must know her techniques well. Her cowardly way of finding tiny faults in perfectly good testimonies. Hey, how dare you? Well, Mr. Wright, will you cross-examine the witness? I'll gladly proceed with the cross-examination, if only because I have a feeling Edgeworth doesn't want me to. She has to have some weakness. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I looked out the window. You know, I should probably take a minute and reacquaint myself with, Okay. And then, ooh, I saw a woman with long hair being attacked. The one attacking her was the mousy girl sitting in the defendant's chair. How do you know she was the defendant? Huh? Well, you know... She had a girlish physique. Women know these things. Look, I just know, okay? There's only one person at the scene of the crime with a short, girlish figure. The testimony is bulletproof, Your Honor. He's right. Hold on a minute. That testimony stinks. What? Miss May, I'm willing to bet that. You're lying. Are you telling the truth? Did you really see the defendant? Mr. Wright, what's the meaning of this? Yeah, what's the meaning? Somebody tell me, because I'm clueless. About this, I mean. Okay. If you had really witnessed my client, Maya Fey, you would have noticed her clothes before noticing her physique. No one wears clothes like this on a daily basis except her. And I'm no expert on fashion, but her hairdo looks far from normal to me. However, the witness's testimony mentions neither of these things. Hey, Ellen Ripley, good to see you. The testimony is bogus. But... Still, we don't know if she's dressed that way the night of the murder. She was, Your Honor. I saw her. And so did Detective Gumshoe. What do you say to that, Miss May? What are you trying to say, you mean lawyer? I saw what I saw. I just didn't think all of the trifling little details were necessary, darling. Miss May, the court would like to remind you to please omit nothing in your testimony. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'll be a good girl, I promise. Your testimony again, if you would. Damn, I almost had her. I did see everything, I did. The victim, the woman, dodged the first attack and ran off to the right. And then the girl in the hippie clothes ran after her. And she hit her with that weapon. I saw it, I did. That clock, that statue-y clock. The thinker, I think. Well, does the accuracy of my report not startle you, Teehee? I see. I only wish you had been so detailed from the beginning. Please begin the cross-examination. So I think this was the one where we needed to point out that it was the clock. A clock? Didn't this come up in another testimony recently? Well, don't look so sour, Mr. Lawyer. You can't win them all. No! Show her the clock! No, but I have a feeling I'm onto something now. Miss May, what you said just now was quite revealing. Revealing? Ooh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Naughty Mr. Lawyer. You just said that this statue of the Thinker was a clock. But there's no way of knowing that just by looking at it. Another person in much the same position as you recently called this a clock too. And he was found guilty of murder. Order. Ms. May, can you explain how you know this was a clock? Oh. The witness saw the murder with her own eyes. That's all that's important here. The defense is trying to confuse the issue with trivial concerns. Yes, of course. You will withdraw your question, Mr. Wright. But questions are all I have, Your Honor. And as you may recall, I've caught murderers with these questions before. Well, only once. Objection sustained. You may continue to question the witness. Whew, that was close. If you stopped me there, the trial would be over. Huh? What? So what happens now? What happens now is you answer my question. How did you know it was a clock? If you can just give me a second here. I notice I've kind of hit the peak on the volume a couple times, so I just want to see if I can take a little bit of the edge off. Apparently not. Hello, Conrad Shadow Forever. You have been summoned by Edgeworth appearing. I'm gonna try to keep the maintenance to a minimum. Oh boy. So I kind of understood that this game had a very memeable reputation. I did not realize there was this level of love for the Ace Attorney series. I really do owe Vesper a big thank you for this. I would never have guessed that there was this this kind of attention to the series. I must apologize because this is my first time through, and I'm definitely very forgetful on the previous cases. So, wait, that's because I heard it? Yes, I heard it say the time. So, you've been to the law offices of Fan Company. No, hey, I didn't say that. Why would I go there? I heard it from my hotel room. I'll let the Ark finish its business before... So, thank you very much, Ellen Ripley. I don't know if this is a desirable feature of Twitch or not, but obviously it does show all of the gifts that you give, and I know, if nothing else, just because I've seen a lot of the other channels that you're in, and I happen to know that you are a particularly generous account giver, not least of which because I have been the beneficiary of a number of those accounts. So I owe you on both sides of the ledger, both in terms of being able to watch more channels without ads, but also the individual support that you've given me through my side. I really do thank you for that. It's something that I can't really, I don't think I can ever really highlight that enough. Obviously, it's a hobby, but it is nice to try and, you know, pay for the internet for streaming and such. So I really do appreciate that, Ellen Ripley, and Conrad Shadow Forever. Definitely feel free to make use of the emotes that we have here. I'm happy when I see them, but hopefully you'll find at least a couple that are appropriate to the mood. And if nothing else, just throw an Aristotle around in your favorite channel. All right. The law offices of Fay & Co., where the murder took place. It is very close to the hotel. She could easily have heard the clock. You're so welcome. You can buy a Tim Hortons coffee at ChalkCon28. I don't know if I would ever have my own con, but you are welcome. You know, I've actually started... I used to not drink Tim Hortons for the longest time, but I've started, and not least of which because there is one that's open till like late near where I live. And there's actually a couple of really, really nice people there. So I've always found that Tim Hortons is always hit or miss in terms of the service, but there's a couple of people there who are just absolute gems, really, really friendly. So I don't know, it's kind of nice when you have a neighborhood place, and particularly a neighborhood place, for me at least, that's a, oops, sorry, my, concerning. Sorry, just 1 minute here. I saw my alarm changed on my clock, so I need to make sure. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's always nice when you have like a local place, but for me, it's also nice when you have a local place that's open late. Deluded says, I've been to Tim Hortons all of once, but that's because we don't have one around these parts. If you let one sprout up, they're kind of like mushrooms, and they kind of sprout up all over the place. Yeah, I'm actually very simple on my Tim Hortons order. It's like a simple black coffee and the old-fashioned plain donut. It's a very underrated combination. Well, Mr. Wright, are you satisfied? No, Your Honor. I can't give up now. I'm not satisfied because it couldn't have rung. Your Honor, members of the court, it is inconceivable that the clock in question rang. That clock is missing its clockwork. How could you possibly? Just take a look, right now. Oh, see anything interesting, Your Honor? It is as the defense says. This clock is missing its clockwork. It's quite empty. Mr. Wright, would you care to explain to the court the meaning of this? It is as you can see. The clock was empty. It couldn't have rung. Therefore, this witness is a big, fat liar. Fat? Well, Miss May? Quite a show you've put on for us, Mr. Wright. He knew the clock was empty. Somehow he knew. I'm afraid you've forgotten one thing, however. Indeed, the clock is empty. As you say, it can't ring. However, we must ask, when was the clockwork removed? If it was after the witness heard the clock, then there is no contradiction. That's true. That is a possibility. The clock might have been emptied after she heard it. That is exactly what happened, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove when the clockwork was removed? Ho ho, impossible, of course. I have proof. What? Wasn't it you who told me proof is everything? I've definitely found, for myself, I did the first part of the investigation a couple of weeks before, and then this part I did last week, so it's a little bit more fresh in my mind, but I definitely find, like, especially when it references earlier cases, you know, that is probably over a month, and of course I'm playing other games, and also keeping in touch with chat as well, so... it always depends. I always find it's kind of an audience thing, right? So if you have an audience that's willing to endure a bit of a wait, and obviously, you know, we have the time for chatting and things like that. So I'm hoping that that's kind of a self-selection that's happened already. Then it's fine, and you know, you can just sort of enjoy the ride. But I have found that, you know, a feature of Twitch is sometimes that there are people who just cannot abide a game being played incorrectly and will, you know, let you know in all capital letters um, how bad you are at it. Um, but it's fun. Like I said, it's a game that's really charm. Like I said, it's not normally the sort of thing that I play, but is very, very charming. And again, I do have a particular streamer, Vesper Fortune, to thank for that. He kind of gifted it out of nowhere, and I was planning on playing it, but I wasn't really sure what to expect. But even though it's just 2 cases in, it's definitely very, very fun. All right, and now I'll show you the proof you like so much. The evidence that proves when the clockwork was removed is, I think it might be the... Yep. Take a look at this. That's a very cute cell phone. Ooh, you have a girly phone. Wait, this isn't my phone. Listen, this is the defendant's cell phone, and it contains a recording. A recording of a conversation she had with the victim on the day of the murder. Order. The defendant's cell phone? This wasn't brought to my attention. Perhaps Detective Gumshoe overlooked it. A good detective better remember he's up for an evaluation soon. I gotta say, I'm starting to feel bad for the big fella. Let's hear the conversation. Do you just want me to hold on to the thinker for you then? If you could. I should probably tell you the clock isn't talking right now. Huh? It's not working? That's lame. I had to take the clockwork out, sorry. September 5th, 9:27 a.m. Your Honor, I think this makes it clear the clockwork was already gone by the time this was recorded. Which was well before the witness even arrived at her hotel. Well, Miss May, would you care to explain this to the court? Just how did you know that weapon was a clock? Well, wasn't it obvious? I saw that clock before. What store was it again? I go to Soda Mini. Oops, I forgot. Not sure if the lack of discovery phase in the trial law is due to Japanifornia law being more Japan than Fornia, or if it's because all cases need to be resolved in 3 days. Yeah, I tried as much as I can not to. Oh, sorry, I don't think I saw. I commented on your Vancouver. Last time I was in Vancouver actually was to say hello to Brace Yourself. So, but I used to live there and I love it very much. But yeah, so the one thing I've tried not to do, I occasionally break a little bit and say, I don't think it works that way when there's some of the more egregious miscarriages of justice. But the game, again, I think this is a perfect example of a sense of humor goes a long way on this. So anyway, sorry. So the witness has had seen it before. That would make sense. Does the defense have any objections, Mr. Wright? The witness claims she had seen it before, but this directly contradicts a piece of evidence already submitted to this court. Well then, let's see it. Please produce this evidence that will prove the witness had not seen the clock before. It's simple. This clock was never in any store, ever. What? A friend of mine made that clock. Only 2 exist in the world. And the one that isn't here is in police custody. Impossible! Everything is sold in stores. Miss May, I think it's high time you went shopping for a better excuse. Oh, excuse is not on sale today? Ah! Was it you, porcupine head? That stupid clock doesn't matter, okay? She did it, and she should die for it. Die! Whoa, let's not get ahead of ourselves. By the way, long debated about making this a profile picture. This is a court of law, and the witness will remain calm. Actually, this would be not a bad... oh, the other one. Oh? Oh, 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 oh. Silly me. Did I, like, lose it? I guess I did. Eee. Scary. Miss May, let me ask. Tell me, how did you know the weapon was a clock? Oh dear. Does the defense have an opinion on this behavior? Okay, this is it. Yes, Your Honor. Allow me to explain how I see the truth of the matter. Miss April May, you knew the weapon was a clock because the witness had never held the clock in her hand. However, she had heard that it was a clock. She heard. That is correct, Your Honor. There's no other way she could have known the thinker was a clock. I can show you the proof. Well, this is interesting. Let's see it then. Show me the evidence proving the witness has heard the murder weapon was a clock. Have a look at this. Ah! That... He... I found this in Miss May's room. Mr. Wright, please explain to the court what this is. Miss April May? You were tapping the victim, Miss Mia Fay's phone, were you not? Oh. Your Honor, this is irrelevant. I'm not entirely sure that it is. Objection overruled. It troubles me that our witness was in possession of a wiretap. This is outrageous. Does the defense truly claim that the witness was tapping her phone? Absolutely. Even if that was the case, which it's not, you still have to prove one thing. Did the victim ever say that the weapon was a clock on the phone? Can you prove that? I think not. Oh yeah? I think I can. It's simple. What? Here's my proof. The proof that the victim said on the phone that the weapon was a clock is... I present the defendant's cell phone. Yes, we've seen that. Listen once more to the conversation between the defendant and the victim. Mia, what's up? You haven't called in a while. Well, actually, there's something I want you to hold on to for me. Again? What's it this time? It's a clock. It's made to look like that statue, the thinker, and it tells you the time. So I used the SkyTrain. I lived out in, I don't know if you saw the area New Westminster, but I actually went from there to UBC. I hope you got a chance to see UBC. It's an absolutely beautiful campus. It took me a really long time, but yeah, I enjoyed hanging around sort of the downtown area as much as I could, but I was really spoiled by having such great public transport like that. Also the library in Vancouver, 6 floors and looks like a coliseum. It's amazing. Miss April May, you used a wiretap to listen to this conversation. That's how you knew the thinker was a clock. Am I wrong?
Objection!
Your Honor, this is ridiculous. Your Honor, look at the witness's face. Does she seem amused to you? The defense demands an answer. Witness, answer the question. Did you tap her phone? Miss May! Shut up, all of you! What gives you the right to talk to me like that? You liar! It's not fair, all of you ganging up on me like that. Oh, so I'm the bad girl, is that it? That did it. The court's seen the real Miss April May now. Now to deal the final blow. Why did you tap her phone? Answer the question! Do I have to? Isn't this a murder trial? Isn't tippy tapping or irrelevant? She's saying exactly what Edris wants her to say. Miss May, you were tapping the victim's phone. I hardly call that irrelevant. While this court does not condone the defense's tone of voice, he has a point. Well, Miss May, do you have an explanation for the court? Can you prove you had nothing to do with this murder, even though you tapped her phone? Ha! I'd like to see her pull that off. Mr. Lawyer, I saw that evil, evil grin. You were probably thinking, I'd like to see her pull that off, weren't you? Damn, she's good. Well, you're not the first man who's thought that. And of course, I can, and I will. You can't be serious. No way. Way, I say. Way. Oh, and I assure you, I'm serious, Mr. Lawyer. Okay, so, the killing happened around 9 at night? Why, that's just when I was getting room service from that sweet bellboy. Room service? Iced coffee, I believe it was. Iced coffee? You know, like normal coffee, but cold. If you don't drink it quick, the ice melts, and then you have regular cold coffee. Ice coffee? Think I'm making this up? Ask the bellboy. Ergo, the witness was not on the scene at the time of the murder. Actually, Deleted, that's wonderful to hear. I don't know which pen shop. You may have been to the same one I did. So at the Tim Hortons I was just mentioning yesterday, there was a guy, seemed like a little bit distressed, but not like uncomfortably so. And he was looking for a pen. So I shared with him. And in fact, I have a fountain pen myself. So, you know, I just kind of take the cap off and lend it to him. Kind of led to a bit of a conversation. But it's actually a pen that I got from a downtown Vancouver pen shop. It's like it's a pretty inexpensive one, but it's what I kind of do for my my regular writing. So for all I know, I don't remember the name, but it's one that actually it's the first place I found out about a certain type of ink that I keep using. There was like a little bit of a pen club that used to be. I didn't really go all that often, but they did have a pen club there, and it was kind of where I first got into fountain. Actually, I first got into fountain pens because my friends bought me one and a very nice journal to write in. But that is fascinating that you wound up you found the shop. Do you mind if I ask what kind you got? But yeah, no, if you get a chance, I definitely recommend Vancouver. It's not exactly a cheap place to live, but it's wonderful to visit. And word search. So Conrad, which words? I've Apple News, which is basically my only crossword source, but I don't know if that was the word search. I'm sorry, you're probably saying word search, not a crossword. Anyways, so where does that leave us? It is my great displeasure to inform you that the witness appears to have been tapping the victim's telephone. However, that is a separate crime with no bearing on the current case whatsoever. Her testimony stands. She saw the defendant, Maya Fey, commit murder. I'm pretty sure that's the same shop I bought at Deleted Daybreak. That's a wonderful little coincidence. No, they're just going to let her walk away. There's no way I can win this unless I tie Miss Maeve to the murder somehow. Well, does the defense have anything to say? Well, come on, think of something. The defense would like to call the hotel bellboy as a witness. There's something suspicious here, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I think you've sunken quite low enough already. I object to calling the bellboy. Why? What's your reason? Because I hold that the wiretapping had nothing to do with the killing. However, if you agree to one condition, I'll consent to calling this witness. Condition? If Miss April May's alibi is not called into question after you examine the bellboy, then you will recognize that Miss April May was not the killer, thus she is innocent. And thereby you must also accept the verdict of guilty for Miss Maya Fey. That's logic. That is my condition. What? I better find something suspicious in that bellboy's testimony. Otherwise, Maya will be declared guilty on the spot. What should I do? Alright, I got nothing to lose, except for, well, everything. Understood. I accept your condition. Fool. You fell right into my trap. Uh-oh. Wait. Very well. The court calls the hotel bellboy to the stand. I believe we're ready for the witness to testify. He certainly does look like a bellboy. Yes, sir. I received your summons in the middle of work, sir. I'm happy to be of service. That tea set looks rather heavy, so without further ado, the witness may begin his testimony. Very good, sir. I'm the head bellboy at the fine Gatewater Hotel, in business for 4 generations. I believe I received a call after 8 in the evening from our guest, Miss May. She asked for an iced coffee to be brought to her at 9 on the dot, sir. I brought it to her at precisely the requested time, of course. And I delivered the iced coffee to our guest, Miss May herself. I see. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Right. I'm ready. I hope. This is it. If I can't prove Miss May was involved with the murder now, Maya will be finished. I think it's been in business for 5 generations. I believe I received a call after 8 in the evening from our guest, Miss May. She asked for an iced coffee to be brought to her at 9 on the dot, sir. I brought it to her at precisely the requested time, of course. Precisely 9, then? Precisely, exactly, and most definitely, sir. 9 p.m. How can you be so sure? Miss May was quite insistent that it be brought then. Oh, bellboy, I'd like an iced coffee at exactly 9. Something like that, sir. Therefore, I knocked on her door at the crack of 9, sir. Why would she be so particular about the time? I'm trying to remember... Bellboy wouldn't have had any reason to lie, but I have to find something to use in his testimony. One more time. I'll press him until he spills the beans or his tea. Nine on the dot, you say? Yes, I confirmed that detail several times. She was watching a program on the TV and wished to drink after she finished, sir. 9, the time of the murder. Alright, sorry, we did this before, so... That's not what I wanted. Huh. I remember there was something about the 9 o'clock that I did last time, but...
Objection!
Alright, I really need to stop doing that. Actually try the Miss May herself. Are you sure it was Miss April May herself? Absolutely, sir. Absolutely? Yes, sir. As in, so very absolutely, sir. It's an endearing mannerism of mine. How come you're so very certain? Well, when I brought the room service, sir, the guest, sir, favored me with an embrasse, sir. Embrasse? Is that French for embrace? It's French for kiss, sir. But not a French kiss, sir. More of a peck on the cheek. Why would she have done that? I believe perhaps she was momentarily swayed by my prim demeanor, sir. It was a moment I will never, ever forget, sir. Sounds pretty fishy to me. I think our Miss May was up to something and wanted the bellboy to remember her. It's no good. There's nothing there. Is that it? Finally, you understand. This bellboy has absolutely no reason to lie. Now, if you have any decency, you will end this rather tedious cross-examination here. It was a bit tedious. The witness may leave the stand. Can't let this happen, can I? Wait. Please wait. Yes, does the defense have something to add? One last question. Let me ask one last question. Your Honor, I must object. This charade of justice has gone on long enough. Now, Mr. Edgeworth? All right, Mr. Wright. I will give you one more question. That's all. Okay. This is really it now. This is my last chance. What do I ask him about? Tell me again about room service. Again, sir? At exactly 9, I delivered room service to Miss May in room 303. The guest had requested iced coffee. $18 was the charge, as I recall. I see. $18? Does that seem a bit expensive? Yes, well, iced coffee for 2, you know, and we don't skimp on the ice, sir. What did he say? What did you say? Rather, quite. Bellboy, tell us the truth now. Was someone else staying in Miss May's room? I object. That was objectionable. Objection overruled. The witness will answer the question. Yes, I see. Why did you not mention this in your testimony? Well, sir, you didn't ask. Nice try. That's the sort of thing you're normally supposed to mention. Ah, yes, quite, indeed. It was the good barrister there, Mr. Edgeworth, who... He asked me not to mention it if I wasn't specifically asked, sir. You fool. I've done it. I've won. Miss April May checked into a twin room with a man. Correct? Yes, sir. Then when you brought them room service, you didn't see that man in the room? That's right, sir. Your Honor, we have just learned of another person involved who may have been the murderer. In light of this new fact, I hold that it's impossible to judge the defendant. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Edgeworth? And who, Mr. Wright? Who is this other person? Simple. It was... the man who checked in with Miss May. Your Honor, as has been previously revealed, Miss April May was tapping the victim's phone. Yet Ms. May herself has an alibi at the time of the murder. However, that does not clear the man that was with her. The bellboy saw no one else in the room at the time of the murder. Right, what a convenient little setup, but it's too late. Too late? I suppose you'd like it if it was too late, wouldn't you? After all, it was you who hid the presence of the other man from this court. Upstart! Amateur! These accusations are ludicrous. Enough. The court acknowledges the defense's argument. I expect the prosecution and defense to look into this matter fully. Am I understood? Yes, Your Honor. That is all today for the trial of Miss Maya Fey. Court is adjourned. September 7th, 2:24 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Mr. Wright, you were amazing in there. Really? I think I might be your newest fan. Oh, I was just doing my job, you know? Then again, that other attorney was pretty cool, too. Huh? That face of his, with his eyes wide and trembling lips. It sent shivers up my spine. You say so. So, what happens with me? Do I get to go home now? Well... No, I don't think so. Not yet. Oh, I see. But I got a great lead in today's trial. A lead? That man with Miss May. He's the key. Oh, I get it. What happened to Miss May after that anyway? I heard they arrested her. I guess she's learning her charms won't work everywhere. She probably is at the detention center now. I might have to go down there later. Anyway, this case is far from closed. Yes, sir. I'm going to find out more about this man. Do you think it was the one who... Maybe so. Sis. Don't worry, I'll find him by tomorrow. I promise. I'm counting on you. As for a full record of April May's testimony, I thought it might come in handy during the trial tomorrow. But now that I have it, I'm not so sure. Most of her testimony was all lies. In fact, there's only one part that hasn't been stricken from the record. The victim dodged an attack, then ran to the right, but she was caught and struck. I don't know how much good this will do me at all now. Anyway, time to hit the pavement and do some investigating. Maya doesn't belong in that detention center, and it's up to me to set her free. Ah, so I see, I see where I went wrong on the save. Yes. So this is why we've spent an hour with the game. Not that that is a terrible fate, mind you. So I'm not gonna take a break, but I think I know the Tims you're talking about. They have a nice. It's nice to have more businesses open late in this neighborhood. Yeah, you probably do know the one, Underwater Monk, and good to see you. Yeah, it's so the big thing for me. Deluded was talking a bit about Vancouver. Like in Vancouver, it was like consumer's choice as far as coffee shops, and most of them would close. Like the early ones would maybe be like 10 or 11. There are plenty of 24-hour options. And of course, I would usually be taking transit home. So I wouldn't be sticking around, later than 1 or 2. So I really enjoyed doing some reading and writing really late at night in a few different coffee shops. But, I'm in Ottawa now and everything seems to close around like 5 or 6. And actually, so I met Underwater Monk at a local place called Cesar Rosa's U-Rock Cafe. And that one, that's open a little bit later, not 11 o'clock late. So it's nice that window's getting pushed a little bit. But the thing is, too, you also need a community for that, right? Like it's all well and good to want a place to be open late, but of course you need to be able to justify having staff there for those times. And if everything in the city sort of closes around a certain time, then if you're the one outlier, like you really need to be delivering. So I mean, there's a few places like I I used to get a lot of writing done in diners here, just because they're open later. But yeah, I have my choice of coffee now. There's I'm trying to think how many places you can get a coffee in sort of that general area. There's probably like 7 or 8 different places now. Oh, sorry. Before I jump into this, I was also going to ask a question, just because I wanted to just at least kind of get up and have, like, maybe I'll just do a small break as it is. But there was one question I was curious about from chat, which is I don't know how much this game will refer to a lot of sort of cop and lawyer shows. Obviously, that's it's like doctors, cops. They're like the two guaranteed things to always be on television. But I am curious if there are any sort of favorite. They don't have to be legal dramas. Like, it doesn't have to be Law and Order. Although I know a couple of people who are like massive Law and Order fans. But I'm also just thinking in terms of movies. So like 12 Angry Men is a decent one. I guess Devil's Advocate if you like Keanu Reeves, but wasn't quite the one I was thinking of. But I'm just curious, while I take a small break, if anybody has any particular either lawyer movies, shows, or anything that they would tie to the legal profession in terms of entertainment that they like. I do always like hearing people's recommendations, or at least what kind of catches their interest. And if nothing else, that gives you something to ponder while I wasn't going to do a break, but I'm looking at the time and I'm like, actually, this would not be a bad one. I've never even heard of Border Security Canada's Frontline. I'm going to have to look that up while I go through. I had no idea there's an Ace Attorney anime. Okay, you're all giving me some really interesting options here. So I'm going to put up the break sign. If you've been here since the start, or even if you've just come in, I would recommend maybe getting up, have a bit of a stretch, get a glass of water. Many options available. But I'll try to keep this brief, and we'll be back to finish off at least this case, and we'll see how much time is left. I may switch into something else just to make sure that I can keep the integrity of a save file. But anyways, we'll keep along. I will be back as soon as I can. All right, thank you everybody for your patience. I know it's a little weird to leave a silent screen like this, so I appreciate you all hanging out. So I wasn't aware that there was an anime of this, so that's gonna be one that I have to check out. Sorry, I'm gonna try and balance the lines here. All right, I'll have to do. So I do want to jump back into the game, but I think because we're talking about I'm definitely interested in a few of the recommendations that people had here. So I want to take. Actually, sorry, I'm going to do a quick search for the border security one. I did not realize it was a reality television series. I thought it was fictionalized. Okay, this I'm definitely going to have to to check out. I pretty much always sign up for Canadian things. Now, I have not seen My Cousin Vinny, despite its reputation. But I was thinking on over the break about a few different examples of some movies about the law, and the thing that's really interesting about it is that there are a whole lot of different ways that it has been portrayed and different perspectives that these different films bring. And so many of them actually have very little to do with lawyers or politicians making laws or, judges. And yet it does seem to keep coming up over and over again. And it gets you into some really weird territory very quickly. So I quite like an old Nicolas Cage movie called Lord of War, where he plays an arms smuggler. And I think it would be fair to say that that is not really a movie about the law. But, obviously he is a character who sort of is skirting around the edges of it. And of course is working. A large part of that movie is essentially what is permitted by different layers of government in order to achieve their particular ends, whether that is, a simple financial benefit, right? You're somebody who has the key, so you can enrich yourself, or you look the other way while the crime is being committed, so that you effectively arm the enemy of your enemy. And the reason, so that would seem like a really weird one to put up as a law film example, except that once you start thinking of that angle, like a movie like Zodiac, right? The David Lynch, or sorry, not David Lynch, David Fincher investigation film, right? Robert Graysmith is a journalist, and journalists often tend to sort of be a bit of a detective role in these cases. And so the question is like, well, that wouldn't, police investigation, but, police investigations, definitely are a lot more explicitly close to the idea of the law. And so as a result, you have all of these weird questions in terms of what would count as a law movie or a legal movie. When you have Michael Clayton, who is a lawyer as a character, and he works at a law firm, but it's not really a movie about the law. Yip here says, I think in the grand picture of law, it's been novel to think about how that's a human-made ritual, like this little dance that we do by the rules we made, sometimes in allegiance to bigger ideals like justice, oftentimes not. Yeah, and I definitely think that a lot of the different stories that we get, there's Liar Liar, a comedy, a high concept sort of a comedy, which says, what if a lawyer was forced to tell the truth for a day? And obviously that has a number of ideas embedded in terms of what the nature of the legal profession is. I think Yip's got an interesting idea here. And I definitely I tend to like older movies in general. But the one that I definitely keep coming back to is 12 Angry Men, which I think if you were to make an independent film, like that's your model, right? Because that's a movie that takes place in 2 rooms. It's an incredibly small budget. You just need 12 really good actors. But I think that movie still holds up, to be honest. But what's interesting is that one's actually directed by Sidney Lumet, who also did a movie called The Verdict, where Paul Newman plays sort of this alcoholic lawyer, and that one has the benefit of a screenplay by David Mamet. So that's also a very well done. I think that one's from the early 80s, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of jokingly referred to the Devil's Advocate, the Keanu Reeves movie with Al Pacino. Yes, so you scooped me, Deluded Daybreak. I think To Kill a Mockingbird, the stereotype of people wanting to become lawyers because of Atticus Finch, I definitely believe that one. Both a wonderful movie and a wonderful book, for sure. And I actually think it's interesting to look at the perspective of the law from Better Call Saul, because I definitely think that is much more of a sort of a movie or a TV series more about sort of entrepreneurship. It may be a show with a bunch of lawyers, and you definitely have characters showing varying degrees of respect for the institution, but also the main character is very much about cutting those corners and such. But I thought that was a particularly interesting take, especially too because you tend to see, what I tend to find is that a lot of these times when you'll see lawyers depicted, it's always as sort of this aspirational kind of show, right? Where, and there's a number of them, right? So like Succession, everybody in that show might be horrible, but they're really rich. So you kind of wish you were them. Or Billions, right? So even, I think probably it would be wrong to say that the Paul Giamatti character is necessarily a good guy or a hero, but certainly he's more representative of the institutions, and definitely somebody who's willing to cut the corners on those ones. And Bobby Axelrod tends to be a bit more of an anarchic character, who is more overtly bending the rules. But again, it's kind of interesting. I think there's something to be taken from the different perspectives, kind of some of the things that are taken for granted in terms of these shows, and some of these different films. And it does kind of come back to what Yip is talking about, which is kind of asking this question: what exactly is this thing, and what are we trying to achieve through these setups? Because it's also a very ancient it's a very ancient practice, right? There is something to be said for this idea of, trying to encode a set of behaviors or a set of standards in a society in a way that sort of makes sure that you don't have this great hardship that comes from either arbitrary rules or too harsh of an application. So there's like the term draconian, it actually comes from a specific lawgiver who wound up, in our view, obviously over applying the death penalty. And when challenged as to why he was applying the death penalty for so many things, he pointed out that he does not have a harsher sentence to give for some of the other, for some of the things that are getting the maximum punishment of death, which is certainly a unique perspective on the law. But it is, again, I think the big one here is it's always kind of interesting just to see what's shared. And it's not necessarily that there's a right or a wrong answer, although I do hope a few of you do check out the different films mentioned. So I think 12 Angry Men. The Insider is another interesting one. That's about sort of tobacco court cases. If you want that, then there's also a pretty famous Steven Soderbergh movie starring Julia Roberts called Erin Brockovich, which is also referenced in Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is probably the really well-known TV series that covers it. To Kill a Mockingbird, if you haven't seen that, please do do yourself the favor. But it's a big, and of course this is I'm really not doing justice, of course, to the the serials that constantly come out in terms of showing police procedurals and such. But I think the thing that's most interesting about it is just how rich of a topic it is, right? That you can do, a major Hollywood movie like a few Good Men, the Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. That's another one. And anything I've seen of an actual courtroom very rarely has those major dramatic moments. But it is very interesting to see it practiced. And it's also very interesting to see how people react to it, because to me, I found it very interesting that nowadays we tend to, in some cases, we sort of feel that there is a guaranteed outcome. And I find that such a fascinating expectation from people who, admittedly, they're probably just sort of running their mouths on Twitter. But one of the whole points of the system that we have is that there is not a guaranteed outcome, right? The if you hire someone, and I'm going to be very Canadian here, if you hire Marie Henin, you are not guaranteed to, to escape, to have a not guilty verdict. And we should all, in my opinion, be very grateful that we do not live in countries for which there are guaranteed guilty verdicts, right? These are not normally the things that we align with any sense of justice, or any ideals that we have, at least in terms of the demographics that, Twitch and YouTube give me in terms of the countries that we live in. But it is very interesting in some cases. If you get a sufficiently broad press coverage for something, people really do start having this idea in terms of it being desirable that there be sort of an assured verdict, and particularly that those are the individual speaker is the one who's able to adjudicate the matter, despite a fairly strong tradition of having our fellow citizens decide that, or at the very least a judge. So. It's I don't know. I can see why it's a big topic. I mean, because Yip is here, I get to talk philosophy. The question of justice is as old as the Republic, right? That's somebody says, if I'm a big badass and can do whatever I want, why should I do the right thing? And then he spends the rest of the book trying to answer that question. And I guess it's sort of an indication in terms of all of the different types of shows and the different types of movies that we get, and also games like this, even for the ones that sort of use the lawyers as a bit of a setting, it is always kind of just interesting to see the different perspectives on the practice that come up. And sorry, Conrad, I'm not deliberately ignoring you here. Thank you for letting me know where I can check out the Ace Attorney anime. I know I'm sure you've noticed from this broadcast that brevity is not my strong suit, so I'm sure it's going to take me a while to get through it. But I am intrigued. I think I'm most drawn to how much people seem to love this series, and like I said, it's working its charms on me for sure. So I could definitely see myself jumping in a little bit. I could definitely see myself jumping in a bit deeper down the Ace Attorney rabbit hole. But I will fulfill day 3. Well, hello. I didn't expect anyone to visit me in such a dank place as this. It's really quite moving. Not, you stinking lawyer. I hope you die. Have you come to laugh? Yes, laugh at the fallen Miss May. No, not really. There's something I wanted to ask. Unfortunately, there is nothing I want to be asked. Haven't you done enough questioning, you spiky head? Here we go again. Please, you're scaring the security guard. So, what is it you wish to ask of me then? For starters, how did you get to be so totally whacked? Smile for the camera. So I just gotta deal with the bot. This guard monitors the visitors' room. He hasn't moved an inch. A real pro, this guy. Or maybe he just doesn't get to see a lot of women like Miss May in here. I don't think there are many women like Miss May. Say, why are you so angry? I mean, you don't look like a bad person. Oh, that does it! Bottom-feeding, scum-sucking lawyer! can't tell. Does she have a thing against lawyers? Or just against me? Why did you place a wiretap on Mia's phone? Oh, when you say it like that, it sounds so cold. So criminal. Tapping people's phones is a crime, Miss May. Oh, and I suppose you learned that in lawyer school. Mm-hmm. Creep. This woman is impossible to talk to. About the man who stayed with you in your hotel room. Can you tell me about him? Where is he? Come on. No way, Jose. Maybe if I had something to get her to talk. Iced coffee. I don't think there's too much here. So I think it's pretty clear that I've exhausted those. Well, I mean, I can present a bunch of stuff, but it would be nice if I had... It'd be nice if I had something a little more concrete. I will do this just because it's the new information, but I don't think it's going to give me anything. Hey, guess what? Actually, I really hate your guts. So get lost. Because, well, I'm not cooperating. Thanks, I noticed. Alright, oh, that's interesting. Let's, I guess we can start at the Gatewater Hotel. September 7th, Gatewater Hotel, room 303. Ah, welcome, sir. Quite the performance today, if I dare say so myself. Oh, thanks. Sorry for putting you on the spot like that. No, not at all, sir. Your efforts today can only help the Gatewater's rep, as they say. Huh? Rep? Yes, our reputation will swell as the hotel where the murderer used a wiretap. We can charge a premium for the room, of course. It'll be great for business, sir. Oh, Miss May has been charged with murder. I, too, will become famous. The bellboy who brought the murderer iced coffee. Why do I feel like we're both stuck in the same bad dream? So, you are our honored guest. Please let me know if there's anything I can bring you. Huh, there's still a screwdriver stuck in the drawer. Ah, please leave that as it is, sir. That's the Drawer of Terror, hiding place of the murderer's wiretap. It's set to become one of the most popular attractions here. This guy's serious. I don't believe it. A vase, as expected. I'm not good with flower names, except maybe tulips and sunflowers. By the way, for those of you not from Ottawa, we're Tulip Festival's coming up. Still Scene Painting. Wait, should that be Still Life? Whatever. One of those is hanging on the wall. Nice weather again today. I can see the Fay & Company law offices, of course. Ah, yes. We plan to install a telescope in that window, of course. Just $5 will earn you 3 minutes of A View to a Kill. Just kidding, sir. By that look in his eyes, I'd say he was more than serious. A simple bed. It's been recently made. Nothing eye-catching here. A bottle and 2 glasses rest on the table. Why hasn't he cleaned these up by now? Ah, I beg your pardon, sir, but if you could please refrain from touching those. It's part of the decor. I call it the last drink before murder. We'll be famous, the talk of the hotel industry. So I didn't get anything new in the inventory, but... Could you tell me about this hotel? Absolutely, and on that subject, I have an excellent idea, sir. Currently, this hotel is known as the Gatewater. I propose that we add a subtitle. Why don't you just turn it around? A subtitle? The Gatewater Hotel, Murder Manor. Well, what do you think? Sounds great. Whatever floats your tea set. I wanted to ask you about the man who was with Miss May. Ah, yes. He struck me as a real lady killer, if you'll pardon the expression. I knew it from the moment I saw him, sir. He and I are of the same ilk. We both carry the scent of danger. There, we are in total agreement, Mr. Psycho Bellboy. If you had a photo of that man, I'm quite sure I could identify him. A photo. About Miss May. Oh, her, sir? Not to boast, but I knew the moment I saw her. She'd do it, I said. Do what? I'm starting to think the most suspicious person here is this guy. I don't think there's anything for me to really present to him here. Maybe the wiretap, but I'm not so convinced. I'm sorry. All I could think about during the trial was the hotel. I wasn't paying much attention to the evidence. All right. I added that underwater monk. Thank you. Looks like the forensics has taken the day off today. Detective Gumshoe's nowhere in sight. The police really gave this place a working over. I doubt there are any valuable clues left. Suppose it can't hurt to take a look around, though. Mia's favorite potted plant. I guess I'll have to water it now. The sky is blue, and so am I. There's the hotel right across the way. An old movie poster. Apparently, this was the first movie that made Mia cry when she saw it. I'll have to check it out one of these days. What movie, damn it? You couldn't cram more legal books in here, even if you wanted to. All the cases that the chief worked on are filed here. Some of these files missing? I'm imagining things. Mia's desk. Perfectly clean, as always. The only thing it's missing is Mia. September 7th, Grossberg Law Offices. Huh. Looks like Grossberg is out today. Again? Maybe he's avoiding me for some reason. Wait a second. Wasn't there a giant painting hanging on that wall? Yeah. That was a painting of... Pretty sure it was Marvin Grossberg. Wasn't it very... Huh. I'm curious if it, So it's the same answer no matter what. Expensive-looking mahogany bookshelves filled with expensive-looking books. Funny. They don't look like they've ever been read. It's not the point of having books. Gotta keep the... It's like having a chess set. You keep the chess set to intimidate your enemies, not to play chess. Solid mahogany desk. Wood's been polished to a deep luster. An expensive potted plant. No idea what kind of plant it is, but it's probably the most expensive one available. A table for clients. An elegant ebony case, and if I'm not mistaken, that lighter's made of solid gold. Even I can tell someone here's got money to burn. So other than the other than the photo, I think that's it, but... What's this? Old photos? There are two lying here. Something's been written in pencil on the backs. DL6 Incident Exhibit A, DL6 Incident Exhibit B. Let's take a look at these. I'm sure I've seen this person somewhere. Perhaps I'll borrow this photo. I'm sure no one will miss just one little photo. And it might be a valuable clue. I'll take it for now. A photo lies on the desk. Maybe I should switch with the one I took? I think I'll swap them. So just because it's a man and we had a character say that they would recognize an image. Sorry, I know I keep going on tangents here, but I'm going to show you what this face reminds me of. Huh. There we go. Are you all ready to see what is possibly the most American face? Every time somebody says something that upsets me, the face gets a little bit closer. Anyway, yeah, that was if I had to be subjected to this in my mind's eye, you do too. Take a look at this photo. That's him, Detective. I'm the lawyer. Oh, I know that. I just wanted to say detective once. You know how it is. Just wait till I hear his name. Okay, I'm looking forward to this. No, I don't. But without a doubt, that is the man who checked in with Miss April May. How about I write an affidavit swearing that it's him? Affidavit? This guy is way too excited about this. Well, sure, why not? Yes! I've always wanted to write an affidavit, sir. From henceforth, I will be known as the bellboy who swore the affidavit. Just hurry up and write it. Even Miss May can play dumb to this. I'm sure she will try. You again? Can't you take a hint and stay gone? Hey, the only reason I'm back here is because you won't talk to me. Oh, so it's my fault now. You don't just have spiky hair, you also have a spiky heart. That does it. When this case is done, I'm shaving my head. Have a look at this. Look, I've said several times, I'm not telling you. Where did you... Aha, a reaction. This is him, isn't it? What? Who? When? Why? It is him. This is the man who stayed in your hotel room the night of the murder. No, that's not right. Nice try, Miss Cooperative. Do you have proof that it was him? Hmm? Yeah, proof. Show me proof. I'm so close. Could you have a look at this? What's that? The bellboy's affidavit. It tells us everything he saw. Such as the man you checked in with. Who was most definitely this guy. Now I'm getting somewhere. Okay, she's vulnerable now, so I should be gentle. Miss May, it would be easy for me to hand this affidavit to the police. If they get involved, wouldn't your boss be even more inconvenienced? All I want to do is have a little chat with him. You won't tell me? Is that all you have to say? Yes. So easy for you to get the police involved, then why don't you? Somehow I think you're not up to it. Show them a little kindness and they jump all over you. That had the opposite effect of what I hoped. Aw, poor little lawyer. And you were so close. I just worn out this piece of paper's usefulness. Damn it! And this photo is the one I want. Why did April May not want to talk about it? She must know him. So my guess here would be to go see the, look at the bookshelves. But I... Yeah, so that didn't seem to... That old familiar clearing of the throat. Aha, you again. Hello, Mr. Grossberg. Well, you were quite the thing, my boy. Excuse me? The trial! It was there? Reminded me of myself when I was a youth. Guess something got passed down through me, maybe. Brings back memories, it does. Ah, the days of my youth. Like the scent of fresh lemon, you see. I apologize. It was all a bit too much for me, my boy. Seeing you today, I appreciate the reminiscing, but I'd much rather you gave me some information. So I think we've exhausted these options. The other day, I'm sure there was a big pretentious-looking painting on that wall. Pretentious-looking? Well, you know the one I mean. Anyway, where did it go? Ah, yes, well, I got rid of it. Quite tired of the thing, really. I, sold it, you see. Yes, that's right. Sold it. I'm not sure I buy that. Wasn't that painting rather important to you, sir? Did something happen? I don't see how that's any of your business. Please, speak no more of that accursed painting. I didn't? I asked before, but why did you refuse her request for defense? I think I have a right to know. A right, Mr. Wright. No, I'm sorry. It's just I need more time to think about it, my boy. He does seem troubled about something. Maybe I can find something that will inspire him to talk. So you came to see the trial? Yes, I did. Something was bothering me all last night, you see. I couldn't get a wink of sleep. Really? What was that? Well, you see, it's just Mia's sister, that poor girl. My boy, I owe you my thanks, truly. I don't know what I would have done if things had gone poorly for the girl. If you were that worried about it, why didn't you offer to defend her? So, there is the risk that I lose the photo here, but it's really the only option that I've got right now. Excuse me, I was wondering about this photograph. Where did you get that? I borrowed it. Well, give it back at once. Mr. Grossberg, tell me about the man in this photo. He may have been in that hotel room with April May on the night of the murder. Do you know something about him? Anything? Very well. I will tell you what I know. However, you didn't hear it from me, if you follow. I follow. That man is Mr. Red White. He's the president of Blue Corp. I see what you mean, Conrad. Red White. Blue Corp. They're something like a detective agency, right? They're information pros. They sell information, you see. Sensitive information. Despite his name, Mr. White has the blackest reputation of any man in this country. Should you run across him, watch what you say. You wouldn't want him digging up any dirt on you. Selling information. Sounds like blackmail. Can you tell me where Blue Corp is located? I suppose. Mr. Red White, at last. Finally, a lead on this guy. Why is it an American face? Like, you're not wrong. You're just not sure why you're wrong. Right? I mean, to a certain extent, it's just one of those things that when you, like, you look at it, you know? I think there's a few features, though. So, strong jaw, like, the kind of teeth and smile that says that you're so excited to be back in Iowa. Probably the two big ones. I also just think, to a certain extent, the fact that the smile is large enough that there's sort of these kind of carved in wrinkles. Like, it's not a bad smile at all. It is like like a photographically perfect kind of smile. I just think it's because it has all of those very, it tends to have sort of those very Hollywoodish, while also, for those of you who don't know, that's Tony Robbins, who's sort of a self-help author and motivational speaker. But it's basically largely the combination of high status, high wealth, the very Hollywood presentation, and the it's kind of those combination of all of those factors in one that makes it the most American face. I mean, I'm really trying to justify or explain a gut reaction to seeing an image like that. So I don't even know if I can really explain it. There's a kind of a saying you can say about jokes, like, explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog. Like, you don't really learn anything, and the joke is not better off for it. I think I've probably just ruined the phrase, the joke, but like, it is kind of funny, right? You look at that and you like, when somebody says, I'm about to show you the most American face, and you see that image pop up, you're probably like, yeah, that's roughly what I would have expected. So, but I don't have a deep insight to the American psyche to be able to lock down a definition. Off topic, but do you enjoy ARPGs recently, Chalk? Last Epoch, PoE, D4. I didn't do a whole lot of Path of Exile, and it's mostly I realized the big selling point of that. Hey, Vesper, good to see you. Well, we actually wound up redoing a bit of or actually all of day two, because I didn't save it at the right. I didn't save it at the right time. So you haven't missed too much. We've just found out Mr. Red, White, and Blue. And we did Diluted Daybreak actually shared a clip of my reaction to first seeing well, I guess I saw him in the cutscene, but my reaction to seeing the photo. For those of you not familiar, Vesper Fortune is the wonderful gentleman who shared, who gifted the game to the stream. He's a broadcaster in his own right, also a VTuber. And you were doing Persona 4 most recently, unless you did a stream independent from the last one that I saw. But Vesper's truly a variety streamer. In fact, he does a bit of language learning as well. But I know one of the things that Oswin Meow really took away from his stream was he did these lectures every once in a while, and he did one on the Satanic Panic, which was fun to hear. Anyways, he's a fun guy. He is, every time I come into his stream, there's some kind of conversation about Ronald Reagan. So I don't know if he's kind of stuck in the 80s or if he's just got a very Republican fan base. But he's definitely a good guy and definitely somebody who, I'm always happy to have around. But I am having a great time with it. The game is charming me quite a bit, and I'm very much enjoying the enthusiasm for the series that's coming into the chat, and people have been pretty tolerant of my digressions. But to answer your question, yep. So I got a little scared away. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm the one bringing up Reagan and Vesper's channel because I am an irredeemable troll whenever Vesper's around. But sorry, Yip had the question. So Path of Exile 4, I got a little scared by the big sort of map to go through. The funny thing is that I do like big, complicated games, but I really don't like big, complicated games where the expectation is that people will give you a guide for going through it for builds. Like I kind of want to mess around with the stuff on my own. So I didn't quite get into Path of Exile, although, life's not over. Maybe I'll try it again another time. I've not finished Diablo 4, but I've had a pleasant time with it so far, so those are good. And then I also played a bit of Grim Dawn, which I liked. So I have enjoyed them when I've played them. I wouldn't say it's a primary genre for me, but it's definitely one that I've tooled around a little bit. Yep. I'm assuming that there's probably something more to that question, but I wanted to try and show my cred before going any further. Yes, so I don't know if I'll be doing all the Vesper gifts in one big go, but Vesper's been very kind in terms of gifts to the stream, and I always like to specify I never promise to follow through on a gifted game. That's just a great path to never being able to meet all of those obligations, let alone stream the stuff that you want. But I have really appreciated the gifts, and where I can, I definitely want to stream them, and I try to let people know far in advance when I'm about to play the goodies. All right, finally a lead on this guy. Even if April May couldn't have done it, he could have. Time to take action. Oh, that is a good recommendation. Yep. I've actually played Hollow Knight on stream Diluted Daybreak. The catch for me is that I got caught in those trials was it Godhome? Anyways, and I insist on doing them with all of the restrictions. So I basically just I've hit a little bit of a wall, and it's been a while, but I do fully intend to come back to Hollow Knight after I've done a bit. The only thing is there were a couple of streams where it was just me practicing on those battles, and as enjoyable as that is, I'm not entirely sure it's the only thing that I can do for a stream. But I fully intend to return to Hollow Knight because I technically haven't actually completed the game yet. I'm very clearly near the end, but I did want to get to to that last little bit. Photograph returned to Mr. Grossberg. Now, I must ask you to leave. I need to think about things. Alone. Alright. I don't think there's anything else we'll get from Grossberg, but... I don't think there's anything for me to present to him. September 7th, Blue Corp Inc., CEO's office. What's with the surreal decor? Welcome! Please furnish me with the title of your personage. What the? Your name. What is your name? I was just inquirably asking the title that you go by. Okay, that's it. Wright. Phoenix Wright. Inquirably? Mr. Wright, is it? Right, I see. Splendiferous. Perhaps I have intimidated you with my giantesque vocabulary. What is this guy's problem? I'm Red White, CEO of Blue Corp. You know, corporate expansion official. My business dealings bring me into contact with the elite of the elite. So I'm afraid I'm not used to conversing with the wordily challenged. What a fruitcake. By the way, I'll spare you the context from this. I had a truly charming encounter with an American. So I was in the States last year, and one of my favorite moments was there was a gentleman who kind of I was in with a group of people, and a gentleman kind of comes up and is like, "Y'all from Canada, aren't you?" It's like, "Yes, yeah, we're Canadian." Does it show? It's like, "I can tell by your accent." And I'm like, what do you do with that, right? I totally get it. Canadians have a very distinctive voice, but there is just something about hearing the drawl saying that you've got the accent that I'm never quite gonna get over. Deluded says, one of my main Rift rivals did a custom chart for the AII Pursuit theme and did a cover art for it. I love how everybody still reacts to the Tony Robbins. Anybody who wants that image is welcome to it. I'll send it over Discord if you want. All right. Let me guess. You are an attorney fresh out of law school, are you not? That's the only explanation for why you would come to meet me like this. What does he mean by that? No matter. So, what business does a mighty lawyer have with a man such as myself? Yipes, this guy's arrogance meter is off the scale. Haven't I seen this somewhere? Is this a replica? Ridiculosity. I have no interest in anything but originals. That right there is a bona fide original, worth 5 million for sure. Very Clockwork Orange. I'm guessing this is supposed to be a desk? My, this is quite the thing. It is modeled on my body, see? Well, does its sleek rotundature not inspire you? An impressive lineup of trophies. Judge's Special Runner-Up, Best Participation, Judge's Cooperation Award. Special good try prize. The words judges and special kind of stand out. A statue of a man holding up the world. The Blue Corp sign certainly stands out enough. The model for this man is, of course, Mr. White. Truly a work of art, but probably too beauticious for you to appreciate, correct? I think it's a little too beauticious for just about anyone to appreciate. I'm assuming that if I was playing this with like the streamer mode off, that this would double as a coat hanger too. But sorry, I do need to make sure that I'm in line with code of conduct. What kind of company is Blue Corp anyway? Ah, excellent question. We buy and sell various kinds of information. We are a company of the future. You might say we are the future. Sell information. In just 10 years, I've built this business up into the grand office you see now. In case you were wondering, Blue Corp was named after the color blue. I, Red White of Blue Corp, as founder and CEO, named it so. And why, you ask? Because I like the color blue, of course. Fantabulistic, is it not? On the night of the murder, were you in April May's hotel room? Who can say? I seldom pay attention to mundane details such as time and place. My motto is, don't worry, be happy. Still, Mr. White, the hotel bellboy has stated on the record that he does remember you very clearly. No matter, the bellboy can say what he pleases. I still won't talk to you. If you want me to speak, put me on the witness stand. Although I doubt you'd be capable of doing that. He raises a good question, actually. Why didn't the prosecution call him as a witness? He should have seen the same thing as April May. Ho ho ho! The police, the courts. To me, they are mere toys, playthings for my amusement. Miss May is an employee of Blue Corp, is she not? Correct. She was my secretariat. What a shock it was to hear what she had done. What she has done? You mean the wiretap? Indeed! She is paid to answer phones. Tapping them is not in her job description. She does gather information for us as part of her duties, but I assure you, we do not condone illegal methods. It is ineffable that she would do this. Sounds like he's trying to turn Miss May into a scapegoat. There's something that's been bothering me. Yes? What might that be? That big painting on the wall over there. When did you get that painting? No idea. I forgot. I've seen that painting before, yesterday, in fact. Mr. Wrong, was it? Right. It appears you do not fully grasp your position here. I ask again, who are you? A lawyer? No, my feeble friend, a mere lawyer. Worth nothing. Zilch. Zippo. Nada. Just like that sorry excuse for an attorney, Grodyburger. What? Ugh. Oof. He punched me. Well, Mr. Lawyer, what will you do, huh? Charge me with assault? Charge away. I welcome it, for it is you who will be found guilty. What? Heed my exposition. The police, the courts, they all do my bidding. So you say. I wonder, is that kind of control really possible? I don't expect you to understand. It is a world beyond your comprehension. Sorry, compensation. You came here from Grodyburgers, I presume. Mr. Grossberg's, yes. Then you must ask him, why is it that this painting of his hangs here? Perhaps then he will tell you. Perhaps he will explain how a man can live life purely for personal profit. Go now, skedaddle. There is nothing more to discuss. I don't think he's noticed me standing here. Maybe I should clear my throat? Jumping Jehoshaphat's! Oh, you! What's wrong? You look so pensive, like an old man at the end of his days. I'm not senile yet. I was just thinking about this whole mess. Something's really bothering him, that much is clear. So you came to see the trial? Yes, I did. Something was bothering me all last night, you see. Couldn't get a wink of sleep. Really? What was that? Well, you see, it's just Mia's sister, that poor girl. My boy, I owe you my thanks, truly. I don't know what I would have done if things had gone poorly for the girl. I asked before, but why did you refuse her request for defense? I think I have a right to know. A right, Mr. Wright. No. I'm sorry, it's just I need more time to think about it, my boy. Does seem troubled about something. Starting to have a feeling I know what it is. So I paid Blue Corp a visit. Oh? Oh, I see. Mr. Grossberg, I have to admit, something has been bothering me. Oh? What is it? Well, out with it, my boy. You see, it's just... Mr. Grossberg, sir, there was a giant painting hanging right there the other day, was there not? The one you said you had no intention of parting with. Well, I saw it today. It was in the CEO's office at Blue Corp, Red White's office. So, you noticed. I suppose I should have guessed you would. It is a large painting. Mr. Grossberg, I know that you and Mr. White are connected somehow. Connected, you say? Yes, and I know it is... Mr. White has something on you, doesn't he? Blackmail? I think that painting is fairly gaudy proof. Very well, this may be the chance I've been waiting for. Maybe it's time to get this off my chest so I can finally rest easy again. After all, you were Mia's understudy. Perhaps it was fate. What's he talking about? Red White is a man who makes his living through intimidation. Blue Corp is a company that excels in finding people's weaknesses, I'm afraid. I've been paying them for 15 years now. 15 years? All because of the DL6 incident, as you may have guessed. The name on the back of those photographs. As you suspected, I could not stand in defense of Maya because of this. White would have destroyed me if I did. So that's the connection. It is hard for me to tell you this, my boy, but arresting Red White might be nigh on impossible. Impossible? Why? He has information on everyone. It gives him an iron grip. He owns judges, attorneys, prosecutors, police, and politicians. What? They are bound, unable to do harm to themselves, and therefore to him. Don't look at me like that. What you've seen is nothing more than the weight of many years. What is the DL6 incident? DL6 is nothing more than the sorting code the police gave the case. It was 15 years ago now. I received a request from a medium, a spirit medium. A medium? Her name was Misty Fay. Fay? Indeed, she was Mia's mother. She'd been investigating a murder at the bequest of the police, and she failed. As a result, the police called her a fraud. This is what Maya was talking about the other day. This is one drawback about me not doing this in a little bit closer order. I did all I could for her, and in the end cleared her of wrongdoing. That murder case, however, remains unsolved to this day. That case, is the DL6 incident. But why were you blackmailed over this, Mr. Grossberg? The DL6 incident was top secret at the time. It made sense. The police didn't want people to know they were using a medium. They couldn't let people know. But one person found out. I told him. You told White? He offered me riches. It is an embarrassment to me now. Because I talked, the police were mocked far and wide. In secret, they began looking for the one who sold them out. Of course, White heard about it, and he came to me. Only this time, the offer was blackmail. I see. White controls the law of this country as he sees fit. Yet, if you would still challenge him, have a close look at Mia's office. Mia's office? She followed his every move for years. She may have recorded something of what she found. So, okay. I've been really enjoying the the fun of this game, but the introduction of Red White and this idea of sort of the powerful private intelligence firm and going up against him, I'm now actually quite invested in the story now. I was not expecting this to happen. It's funny looking at this room. It seems so normal. Hard to imagine a murder took place here. Mr. Grossberg said there would be clues. Maybe I should have another look. All the cases the chief ever worked on are filed here. They're in alphabetical order. Let's take a look. Which file should I look at? Let's see if there's an A record in this file that catches my eye. A, B, F. Misty Fay. That's Mia and Maya's mother. Should I take a look? I've tarnished the Fay name, leaving only these words, my mother vanished. I was determined to find the ones who had made my mother blame herself in this way. Using the power that runs in my family, I held an audience with the dead. Finally, the names of two men surfaced. One was Marvin Grossberg, a lawyer who sold my mother's information for riches. The other was the man who sold that information to the press. This parasite, Andrew Ryan moment, who makes his fortune on threats and coercion. His name is... The record stops there. So Mia knew Grossberg. He was a mentor, wasn't it? All the cases the chief ever worked on are filed here. They're in alphabetical order. Let's take a look. Which file should I look at? Well, we already did A to I. I'll do it again just to see if there's new information, but... Yeah. Let's see, J through S. Nothing much in here. Maybe I'll just skim this. Well, no harm in flipping through a bit, I guess. The biggest part's here at the end with S. Suicide? Ew. Just a collection of suicide reports. There's politicians, policemen. There's writing on most of these in pencil. White? This is Mia's handwriting. Wait, I get it. Mia thought he was involved in these suicides. White drove them all to... Listen, they fell down the staircase onto some bullets. I could use these newspaper clippings. Let's find the most disturbing... I feel attacked here. Article about a politician's suicide. The word white is written in pencil at the top. I found this in Mia's files. So she was investigating Red White, as I expected. Well, if you wanted to challenge him, you could present this in court. Not a bad idea. Probably should have been a little more thorough in here before I moved on. It was natural causes. How are these natural causes? You can't live without a spine, son. Apparently, Miss May is in questioning. I doubt they'll let me talk to her today. This guard monitors the visitor's room. He hasn't moved an inch. A real pro, this guy. The bellboy seems to be out. The sound of water coming from the shower. La-di-da, money-making, I got the money-making blues. Someone seems to enjoy washing the showers. Screwdriver is still stuck in the drawer. I better not touch it. No telling what the bellboy would do to me. Nice weather again today. I can see the Fay & Co. law offices, of course. That's not what I wanted, but... A bottle and 2 glasses rest on the table. I better not touch them. No telling what the bellboy would do to me. The whole reason I came back here was to mess with the... hotel. Well, aren't you persistent? Sorry, but there's something I have to ask you. Mr. Lawyer, I really hate having to repeat myself, but it seems the message has not yet penetrated your thick skull. Stop bothering me. If you try my patience further, I fear a nasty accident may occur. Do I make myself clear? Transparent. Yeah, go nuts. Do it, Dave. I kind of trust you to I trust you to find the line. How does White have it now? It's not that hard to imagine a few possibilities. So I'm pretty sure we've already done these. This is the top floor of a 20-story building. The view is quite presidential. So the only thing... Alright, let's do these. I won't... I'm trying to give the illusion of being a decent person deluded, but it is that is a totally fine joke to tell. I think we're past needing to talk about April May. Gotta put this guy on the spot and quick. What's the matter? You seem distressed. So the thing is, I was not sure if I should be confronting him with the evidence that I'm going to be presenting to him in court. So I kind of want to sort of mow the grass first to get the dialogue tree done. This guy's a pro at pulling the wool over people's eyes. Gotta put him on the spot and quick. Stop that. Your hot gaze is giving me goosebumps. All right. So the game's pretty insistent on it. This is the only clue that Mia left me. I better make this one count. Mr. White, see this? It's an article describing the suicide of a politician. He was embezzling secret government funds. Then one day, word got leaked to the press. The very next day, he took his own life. And this concerns me how? I found this article in Mia's office. Miss Mia, she had a file filled with articles like this. Every one of them was labeled with a single word, White. Mr. White, I know what you did to this politician. You were blackmailing him. Blackmail? Not just him either. You were threatening and coercing hundreds of others. You were involved in all of the suicide cases that Mia investigated. This company is built on blackmail. I'm right, aren't I? What a bizarre accusation. Mr. Wrong. That is, what is it that you should be doing now? Investigating me? No. I think not. You should be searching for the one who killed Miss Mia. Secretary's office. Hello? Mr. Wrong will be leaving now. Yes, sir. I'll send someone right away. Wait a second, Mr. White. You're wrong, Mr. Wright. Excuse me? What I should be doing now is going after you. Just what are you insinuating? Mia was on to you. She was keeping tabs. For this reason, you had April May tapping her phone. Then Mia was murdered, and all the documents about you mysteriously disappeared. So, the culprit would be... Even a child could work it out, Mr. White. You did it! Secretary's office. We won't be needing an escort from Mr. Wrong. Instead, please connect me to the public prosecutor's office. Of course, sir. One moment, please. White, that you? What are you calling me at a time like this? Hello, Chief Prosecutor? I've changed my mind. I want to testify tomorrow. What's this about? The Mia Fey case. I witnessed the murder, you see? And thus, as a very important witness, I would like to testify. What? Why now? I thought you said you didn't want to go to court. Quietude! I told you I changed my mind, didn't I? Oh, and one other thing. Send the police over here right away. The man is standing right in front of me. He looks dazed, but could be violent. What man? Are you even listening? The executioner, the hatchet man, the liquidator, the killer man. What? Mr. White, this isn't another one of those. Chief Prosecutor, I do not believe you are in any position to freely offer your opinions to me, correct? I'm telling you to send the police. Now. Did I not tell you, Mr. Wrong? You are a mere lawyer. As was Miss Mia. How dare you! I'll point the finger at you, and you will be tried as Miss Mia's killer. The case is as good as settled. No lawyer of any worth will defend you. I have friends in the local lawyers association, you see. You'll be given a lawyer so stupendously inept that they make even you look competent. I feel faint. Detective Gumshoe reporting, sir. Ah, Butts. Harry Butts. Right, actually. Phoenix Wright. And my friend's name is Larry. Oh, right. Sorry, pal. Butts was that murderer, right? Detective Gumshoe, I present to you the man who killed Miss Mia Fey. What? Take this despicable human being into custody. Farewell, Mr. Wrong. Can't believe it's only been a day since the first trial. My trial begins tomorrow. White's going to set a trap for me, and the prosecution will be in on it, of course, Edgeworth included. An attorney was assigned to me by the state yesterday. I refused. I had an idea. Wright! Mr. Wright! Oh, Maya. Great, they let you out of detention. Just now, yes. It's all thanks to you. Now I'm afraid we've switched places. What? You mean you? I explained what had happened to Maya. I don't believe it. How many people does that man need to destroy before he's satisfied? My mother? My sister? Now you. This has gone too far. Mr. Wright, please tell me, is there anything I can do? Well... I don't see why I can't represent myself, but defend me in court? Alright, you can be my defense lawyer tomorrow. Alright. Huh? Leave it to me. I am Mia's sister, after all. Lawyership runs in our blood. Wasn't it ghost powers that ran in your blood? I better run to the bookstore and pick up a copy of Law for Rookies. Wait. What? I'm kidding. It was a joke. No way. No, really, I was kidding, but thanks. It's good to know you're on my side. There really isn't anything you can do for me anyway. but I can't just sit here and do nothing. Gotta give that man a piece of my mind. Just a piece? Okay, then, come to the trial tomorrow. Okay, I'll be there. I'll show them a thing or two. Times may change, yet with crime it's the same old story. In fact, it's gotten worse. Lengthy court proceedings are no longer realistic. Beginning a few years ago, a limit of 3 days was put on initial court trials. Almost all finish in a day, most with a guilty verdict. I never thought I would end up in the defendant's chair myself for this case. With a true culprit appearing as the star witness. This is it. Tomorrow it's me or him. So there's a bit of an awkward time. I am going to do my best to move on to day 3, though. Well, I guess this is it. Yeah. One way or another, this case gets decided today. Phoenix, look! Prosecutor Edgeworth. I received a call from the Chief Prosecutor's office yesterday. I was told that whatever Mr. White says today, it will be the absolute truth, no matter how you try to attack his testimony. If I raise an objection, I have it on good faith that the judge will listen to me. Does White have the judge in his pocket too? So you're saying I'm going to be guilty. End of story? I will do anything to get my verdict, Mr. Wright. Anything. Why? How can you torment an innocent person like this? Innocent? How can we know that? The guilty will always lie to avoid being found out. There's no way to tell who is guilty and who is innocent. All that I can hope to do is get every defendant declared guilty. So I make that my policy. Edgeworth, you've changed. Phoenix, you know him? Don't expect any special treatment, Phoenix, Wright? Phoenix? Well, court will be starting soon. What? But wait! Your defense attorney isn't even here yet. They're not... I'll be defending myself. What? Okay, let's do this. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Phoenix Wright. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, are you sure you're up to doing this? Yes, Your Honor. I'll be defending myself. Understood. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. As the details of the event are already quite clear to the court, today we will hear the testimony of a witness to the defendant's crime. I see. The prosecution may call its witness. That went far too smoothly. Why didn't the judge ask Edgeworth why his witness didn't testify before? It's like he already knows why. If anyone's going to raise an objection about this, I suppose it's me. Mr. Edgeworth, you owe an explanation to the court. Why didn't this witness testify in the trial against Miss Maya Fey? Huh. I'm ever so sorry. Mr. White is a busy man, and besides, at the time, I thought that Miss May's opinion was all that would be needed. Again, my sincerest apologies to the court. Excellent, Mr. Edgeworth. I appreciate your demeanor. Great, he gets to show off and I get nowhere. I'd like to call Mr. Red White to the stand. Please state your full name. You wish to know the title of my personage? Your name? Yes, that is what I said. Oh dear, do my locutions confuse? Name! These two are great together. My name is Red White, but my friends call me Blanco Nino. I'm the CEO, or use a more common term, the president of Blue Corp. Did you know the victim, Miss Mia Fey? That would be a negatory. No, I did not. You were at the Gatewater Hotel the night of the murder? Correct. And you witnessed the murder from there. Why tell you what you already know? Very well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your testimony. If I can't rip this guy's testimony apart, I'm done for. I always feel like it's the end of the world and I'm the last man standing. I hope you've made your peace with God, Mr. Lawyer. Let him have it, Phoenix. Let's see, it was about 9 o'clock, I believe. I was quietly pursuifying, that's reading to you, some papers by the window. Then I heard a bedlam coming from outside. Surprised, I turned to look at the building across the way. The funny thing is, I have actually met a guy like this before, like in terms of the way that he talked. There was this guy on a set that I used to work with. He was a grip. And like he obviously, whenever he learned a new $5 word, like he would work it into literally every sentence he could. Wait, have you heard of defenestration? So like, I remember particularly when the day he learned obsequious because he kept saying that all the time. And what was funny was I was in camera, so you know it's a fairly tight-knit group, and apparently one of them was like trying to say that about me, and the camera was like, no, he knows what those words mean. So I like to have at least one defender in terms of the fact that, you know, I wasn't deliberately just throwing out a new word that I learned. But the funny thing is the way that the character's well written, like in terms of just a funny quirk, but I've actually met someone who talks this way. Anyways, surprised, I turned to look at the building across the way. It was then I saw him, a spiky-haired man attacking a woman with long hair. Needless to say, that man was none other than you, Mr. Lawyer. I called Miss May over at once. She, too, was flabbergasted, of course. The victim, she ran away, but you gave chase. Finally, there was a terrible impaction. Then it was all over. If things occurred as you testify, then I'm afraid the defendant is guilty. Very well, defendant, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Quite pursuifying, that is reading to use. This isn't the one I need to press on, but I'm going to do it. By window, you mean the one directly across from Fay & Co. Law Offices? Correct. That is the only window you see. And there you were reading papers. Correct. The Gatewater is a businessman's hotel, and I am a busy man who had business to do. Wait, with your secretary? Then I heard a bedlam coming from outside. Surprised, I turned to look at the building across the way. So you were reading your papers until you heard that sound. But of course, I am no snoop peeping out of the windows at night. No snoop? Yeah, right. He made a career out of snooping. It was then I saw him, a spiky-haired man attacking a woman with long hair. Spiky-haired? Needless to say, that man was none other than you, Mr. Lawyer. What you just said directly conflicts with Miss May's testimony. Miss May clearly stated that the assailant looked like a girl. I've always been proud of my eyesight, Mr. Lawyer. Just what is your eyesight? Counting both eyes? 40. 40? Don't add them together. I think the witness is trying to say his eyesight is good. Hey, whose side is this judge on, anyway? And what did you do then? I called Miss May over at once. She, too, was surprised, of course. What was Miss May doing at the time? She had just finished watching a soap opera on TV and was weeping openly. Did you know that she had been tapping the office phone? Irrelevant. That has nothing to do with the case at hand. I care not. I will answer the lawyer's bold inquiry. Miss May was acting alone when she tapped the phone of this Fey woman. Make a good politician, Mr. White. Oh, I know. After all, I am El Presidente. Please continue. The victim, she ran away, but you gave chase. Maybe a little more detailed about that. I think it's worth knowing exactly what happened. Of course. Comprende, I understand. The victim was attacked by you and ran to the left. You gave chase and struck her down. So I believe we still have the court record of... Yeah. Are you sure? As you know, I am always absolutely perfect. Perhaps you could change your testimony to reflect this new detail. The victim ran to the left, and you gave chase.
Objection!
Wait right there! Mr. White, you've dug your own grave. What is this? You said the victim ran to the left, but that directly contradicts Miss May's testimony. She clearly stated that the victim ran right. Oh, it is simple. You have misheard her. I think not. Look at the floor plans. The killer was here, and the victim here. If the victim ran to the left, as you claim she did, she would have been running directly away from the door. She would have been running into a dead end. Don't you find that odd? Very strange. I did see her run to the left. I did. Phoenix, look at his face. I don't think he's lying about this one. True. Maybe he really did see the victim run left. So he did witness the killing. Wait a second. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? Miss May says right and Mr. White says left. Can you explain this contradiction to the court? Both witnesses are telling the truth, for once. Ha! I doubt it. Rather, that does not clear up the contradiction. There is one scenario that would explain their conflicting accounts. What? Obviously, the witness was not viewing the crime from the hotel. Mr. Wright, what do you mean? Yes, what do you mean? He was not viewing the crime from the hotel. If he was not in the hotel, where could he have been? In the law offices of Fay & Co., of course. More specifically, he was standing here. I'm sure the court where Mr. White was standing.
Take that!
This is where he was. Look. When the victim ran for the door, if he was watching from this point, it would appear that she ran to the left. Please, this is no time for jokes and ill taste. That is where the killer was standing. Order! I will have order! Anyone disturbing the order of this courtroom will be held in contempt. Mr. Wright, what are you suggesting? Rapscallion! The postulations of the defense are a distortion of the truth, Your Honor. Indeed, they do seem a bit far-fetched. Oh, you provide us with so much entertainment, Mr. Lawyer. Now, he's laughing. The hilarity of the moment made me remember something. It appears I've been unclear, and for this I apologize. Mr. Your Honor, might I be allowed to testify once more? Very well. Let's hear your revised testimony. Good luck. You can't fix a broken testimony, buddy. Miss May's testimony was correct, as was mine. When you assaulted the girl, she first ran to the left, and then you hit her savagely. That is what I saw. Next, with the last of her strength, she ran to the right. You chased her and delivered the final blow. That is what Miss May saw. You see, you hit her twice. Don't you remember, Mr. Lawyer? I think that's already covered by the... It does seem to make sense. Will you be cross-examining the witness's testimony? You bet I will. I mean, yes, Your Honor. Miss May's testimony was correct, as was mine. What do you mean by that? That is what I'm about to explain. You Americans, always so impatient. It does not become you. Hey, buddy, you're an American, too. When you assaulted the girl, she first ran to the left. What do you mean, first? First? That is what comes before what happens next. You do speak English, right? Please, sit back, relax. I will try to use simple words for your benefit. First, she ran to the left, and then... I'm just going to double-check something here. And then you hit her savagely. That is what I saw. I didn't hit anyone. Now, Mr. Wright, there's no point in hiding things from this court. I am not hiding anything. Prosecution requests that the defense refrain from interrupting the testimony. Mr. Wright, you have been warned. Why is he mad at me? Next, with the last of her strength, she ran to the right. What do you mean, next? Next is what comes after first. I know that! But that is all you need to know, Mr. Lawyer. As I said, she turned and made a desperate dash to the right. Chased her and delivered the final blow. That is what Miss May saw. So each of you saw different parts. Abso-positively, that's right, of course. Where do you pick up that annoying phrase? Anyway, moving along. You see, you hit her twice. So you were watching both times. I suppose I was. And please excuse me for not testifying to this sooner. What do you think, Phoenix? I think we've got him right where we want him. He slipped. Let him laugh for now. I'll soon wipe that smile off his face. Miss May's testimony was correct, as was mine. What do you mean by that? Oop. Oh, sorry, that's the start. So I think it's just the autopsy report. No, I don't want to hint. Mr. White, the victim died from a single blow. What do you have to say to that? That's my chance to hit him where it counts. Mr. White, wasn't it you who told this court you were abso-positively perfect? I will refrain from using this phrase from now on. Your Honor, if you could ask the witness for a new testimony... The witness is obviously confused, Your Honor. I would like to request a 10-minute break. Yes, quite. The witness is confused because he is lying. I emphatically request that there be no break, Your Honor. Yeah, we want justice! Don't let him get away! Very well. If the witness would care to revise his testimony... Crowd's on my side. No slipping out of this now, Mr. White. Mr. White? Okay. Well, see, I looked at the other window when I heard that thing fall. Then the next moment, I saw Miss Mia run to the left. The killer, you, attacked her, but she dodged. And then she turned and ran for the door. And then you did her in with a single blow. Thwap! Thwap indeed. Very well, you may begin the cross-examination. Mr. Your Honor, my stomach, you see, is hurting. Deal with it. This is almost over. You heard that thing fall? What exactly was that thing? That. Glass light stand. Right, the one that had fallen over at the scene. Phoenix! Doesn't something about that strike you as odd? Yeah, that is odd. I'll press further. Mr. White! Huh? What? You're saying you saw the glass light stand? Yes? Then change your testimony to reflect that. Sorry, my bad. The witness will revise his testimony. Okay, of course. A light stand was lying on the floor when I looked. The glass stand was lying on the floor. That's the first I've heard of this. Why didn't you tell us about the stand before? What? Me? Well, I was instructed not to. Wait, one moment. Give me a minute to gather my thoughts. I'm so confused. White's falling apart. Your Honor, please, I ask that you do not allow this witness to be badgered any further. Mr. Wright, please refrain from badgering the witness. Yes, Your Honor. Edgeworth is on the ropes. Very well, the witness may continue his account. Then the next moment, I saw Miss Mia run to the left. Miss Mia? Mr. White, did you know the victim personally? No. Triple no. How would I? How could I? I see nothing odd about the witness knowing the name of the victim. Mr. Wright, I will not have you harrying the witness. Looking a little flustered, Edgeworth. A killer, you, attacked her, but she dodged. Now before, you said that she was hit before she ran. Yes, I must have been confused. But don't worry, we all know what happened now. She turned and ran for the door. What did you do then? I gave chase, of course. No, not me. The killer, I mean. He gave chase. Mr. White, please try to remain calm. Mr. Wright here is only trying to fluster you with baseless accusations. Oh, right. Thank you, Miles. Then you did her in with a single blow. Thwap. Thwap? That doesn't sound like the savage attack from your earlier testimony. Yes, well, I am a man of peace, you see. Phoenix. He's getting a lot less talkative. He's probably afraid I'll catch him on something. But it won't be easy. Okay, so I feel like there's something... Probably the fact that it's broken beyond all recognition is the thing that does this. Mr. White. It was impossible for you to have seen the light stand. What? The stand broke into pieces when it fell. Just by seeing the broken pieces, you would have had no idea it was a light stand. So tell me, exactly when was it that you saw the stand? Answer the question! Isn't it obvious? I saw the stand before it fell over. So, you saw the stand before the victim was attacked then? Correct. That would be no problemo, right? There's a big problem here. What problem is this? Mr. White, let me make sure I have this straight. You saw the glass light stand through the window from the hotel before the incident occurred. Correct. That is so. It's conclusive, definitive, undeniable, unimpeachable. No, it's impossible. You couldn't have seen the stand. What? Why couldn't he? You have proof? I sure do, Your Honor. The person in the hotel could not have seen the stand before it fell over. Yeah.
Take that!
Look at this. These are the floor plans of the scene of the murder, yes? Correct, Your Honor. Now, look. If you were to look through the window at the office, this is the area you would be able to see. Here. Well, note that the stand is not within the visible area. Well, Mr. White? What do you have to say to that? Ridiculosity! Mr. White, if you were in the Gatewater Hotel as you claim, you could not have seen the stand before it fell over. In fact, you wouldn't have been able to see it after it fell either. There is no way you could have recognized the broken shards as a glass light stand. So when did you see the stand, Mr. White? It must have been the moment that it fell. And the only place you could have seen that from is inside the Fey Law offices. In other words, you were at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. Ah! Mr. White? Mr. White. You did it, didn't you? Mr. Your Honor, Miss Mia... Looks like we're about to get our verdict.
Objection!
That's far enough, Phoenix Wright. What? I forgot about Edgeworth. Mr. White, I think the time has come. Shouldn't you confess your crime now? What? I said you should confess your crime. Ergo, confess that you placed the wiretap. Wiretap? Order! Mr. Edgeworth, explain to the court what you mean by this. Distinguished members of the court, Mr. White is slightly confused. Allow me to explain. I really don't like the way this is headed. As you know, Mr. White is the CEO of Blue Corp. He ordered his secretary, Miss April May, to tap the law offices of Miss Fay. What does that have to do? Your Honor, the question is, when was the wiretap placed in the office, and by who? I think you mean whomst, Mr. Edgeworth. No, you wouldn't. Mr. White, in order to place the wiretap, you entered Miss Fay's office. Am I correct? Correct! You are most correct, Miles. Give me a break! Yes, in order to place the wiretap, I breached the Fay & Co. law offices. That is when I saw the accursed light stand. Now I'm confused. Please explain to the court what all this means, Mr. Edgeworth. Gladly, Your Honor. Mr. Phoenix Wright has made his position quite clear. He has determined that Mr. White knew the glass stand was in the office. He has shown that there was only one time Mr. White could have seen the stand, at the very moment of the murder. Thus, Mr. Wright would have you believe that Mr. White was the murderer. I see. However, it is a fact that Mr. White had been to that office well before the murder took place. When he went to place the wiretap, he could have seen the glass light stand then. Ergo, Mr. Phoenix Wright's theory is revealed for the baseless conjecture it is. Mr. White, you will testify to the court about this wiretapping. Leave it to me. I feel faint. It was the beginning of September, the week before the murder. I had entered the Fay & Co. law offices. Of course, I had done so to place the wiretap. That is when I saw this glass light stand. So, you saw the stand before the night of the incident. And this is how you were able to identify what had fallen over. By the sound? Correct. That is right. I see. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine. What am I supposed to do now? Good luck, Phoenix. It was the beginning of September, the week before the murder. Do you have proof? Miss April May knew the details of Miss Fay's phone conversation. This proves that the wiretap was placed before the murder. Huh, right. I'd entered the Fay & Co. law offices. Was it really you that went into the office? Or was it Miss May? Unidentified fingerprints several days old were found in the Fay & Co. law offices. Those were obviously Mr. White's. If I know Edgeworth, he's already run a check on those prints. Now, Mr. White, tell us why you went to the Fay & Co. law offices. Of course, I had done so to place the wiretap. Why did you tap Mia's phone? It has no bearing on the current case, Your Honor. Blue Corp is a detective agency of sorts. We have a responsibility to protect client confidentiality. This is when I saw this glass light stand. Why did you notice something as innocuous as a light stand? The light stand was made entirely out of glass. It was quite stylish, so I guess it made a lasting impression on me. Such a beauticious thing deserves attention, does it not? That is all. Damn it, there's nothing there for me to press him on. Oh well, maybe he's rattled enough that I can bluff something out of him. Alright, so I want to see... first of all, I can't remember the date, so September 5th. But I don't remember the... So the tricky part here is I don't actually remember what the, when the murder was. So I think if I present this, I get dinged. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Yeah. Alright. So I need to think a little... And then if I press him... There's the objection. Yeah. I'm really shooting in the dark here, but... Yeah. I'm afraid that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright. The time has come for you to admit your defeat. You fought honorably. No more. I can't take this anymore. Mr. Wright, are you giving up? Yes, Your Honor. Phoenix! Phoenix, over here. I know that voice. Mia! Never give up, Phoenix. Mia! I? The waiting lobby? What happened? Oh, right. I lost the trial. I was hallucinating. Ah, you're finally awake. Hey, Phoenix! That's no way to greet an old friend. Phoenix, I want you to look at me. You're... Maya? Didn't you know the Fae women have strong psychic powers? When you accepted your defeat in court, it appears that was enough to shock to awaken Maya's true powers. So Maya is channeling you, Mia. That's right, I am Maya, but I'm also Mia. Now, I want you to listen to me, Phoenix. Maya never gave up. You can't either. That's why I came here to tell you. But we don't have much time, Phoenix. Now listen. You've already won. Huh? You have that receipt in the court record, right? Oh, yeah, the one you wrote Maya on. Phoenix, Wright wrote that, not me. So, what do I do with it? Look at the front of the receipt. The front? It's a regular receipt. Looks like it's from a famous department store. $1,000. Wow, big spender. Item? Glass light stand. Date of purchase, September 4th. September 4th! That's right, Phoenix. I bought that stand the day before I was killed. Oh! Now, what did Mr. Wright say in his testimony? It was the beginning of September, the week before the murder. He said he saw the stand the week before the murder. There you go. I think the court is about to reconvene. Go to it, Phoenix. You know you're innocent. Now you just have to prove it. Right. I was going to say, I'm assuming most of this is on Rails, but I don't know if there was, I was supposed to get the receipt out of that or not. But I sometimes like the fact that there's a little bit of doubt, just because, you know, it makes me feel invested. Definitely the fact that it penalizes me for throwing evidence out there makes me, I'm obviously really willing to press people because that feels like the lawyerly thing to do, but obviously just throwing evidence out there because the game sort of slaps you on the wrist for doing that, I feel more reluctant. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Phoenix Wright. Is the defendant are you all right, Mr. Wright? Yes, sorry, Your Honor. I'm fine now. Now let's start where we left off. Your Honor, there's nothing to go back to. The cross-examination of Mr. Wright is finished. All that is required now is for you to pass judgment on the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Your Honor, please give me one more chance. I promise you, this is the last time I'll ask you. But, as Mr. Edgeworth has noted, the trial is more or less finished. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an opinion on this matter? I say, let us give Mr. Phoenix Wright his last chance. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination. It was the beginning of September, the week before the murder. I'd entered the Fay & Co. law offices. Of course, I had done so to place the wiretap. That is when I saw this glass light stand.
Objection!
Look closely at this. See the word Maya written in blood? You're grasping. I think not. Look at the other side of the receipt. The other side? Your Honor, would you tell the court what is written on the other side of that receipt? Well, a glass light stand. And the date of purchase? Why, that's the day before the murder. You see, Mr. White, when you allegedly entered Fay & Co. law offices at the beginning of September, the stand could not have been there. Well, Mr. White, can't get out of this one, can you? No. It's impossible. Oh, he's losing it. Well, Your Honor, I understand there must be quite a bit of pressure on you. But I think you'll agree you can't judge me guilty under these circumstances. Very well. Then that is all for the trial of...
Objection!
Not so fast, Phoenix Wright. What? No way he can worm his way out of this one. No, wait, I forgot. It's Edgeworth. There's a certain thread of logic to the defendant's claims. However, there is no concrete proof that Phoenix Wright is innocent. Ergo, I would like to request one more day before Phoenix Wright is granted his freedom. I need time to make one more inquiry into this matter. Another inquiry? This isn't going to be another one of those updated autopsy reports. This guy just makes up evidence as he pleases. This is bad. Mr. White's guilt is obvious. There is no need to prolong this trial any further. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, if anyone is going to call Mr. White to trial, it would be me, the prosecution. I need a day to ascertain whether these new claims have any basis in factual evidence. I see. Objection denied. What? The completion of the trial of Mr. Phoenix Wright will be postponed until tomorrow. No, there's no telling what will happen if I can't end this now. Edgeworth is sure to come up with, or just make up something. After Mia showed up to help me and all. Mr. Your Honor, may I go home? Of course. Thank you for your time. The witness will stay. Mia? Phoenix! Read this note out loud. Mia, what's this? Your Honor, if I may. You're quite persistent today, Mr. Wright. You bet I am. My life is riding on this one. I have something I would like to read to the court.
Take that!
The memo Mia had given me was a list of names. Many of them sounded strangely familiar. People in finance, famous celebrities. That's when it happened. Stop! Desist! Halt! Please, stop! Make him stop! How did you get that list? Mr. White, admit your guilt right here, right now. Or else this list will be released to the press. I confess. I confess! I did it. I hit her. I hit Miss Mia with the thinker. Case closed, Your Honor. Well, I see no reason to continue this trial. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? You've done it again. That was quite a spirited defense. Yes, Your Honor. I guess you could say that, if only you knew how spirited it was. Well, this court finds the defense, rather, the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. That is all. This court is adjourned. Well, I never thought I'd be saying this again, but congratulations. You're lucky I was born a Fae. I'm lucky I had both you and Maya on my side. I'm glad you made it. Thank you, Phoenix. You risked a lot to help me and Maya. I won't forget it as long as I live. As long as you live? My time here is running out. Huh? Maya's powers are still weak. I can't stay here that long. What? No! There's still so much to say. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll meet again. Chief? I'm not the chief anymore. Phoenix, can you come to the office tonight? Say 9 o'clock? The office? I'll see you later. Chief, Mia. Being here, it's hard not to think about that night. You came! Mia? I was kind of worried you might not. Huh? Of course I came. Well then, I'm pretty hungry. How about a burger? Mia? You should see your face. Mia? What are you talking about? It's me, Maya. Maya? What, did I look like my sister? Look like you were her. I might be able to use that. Oh, Phoenix, go to the store and buy me lunch, would you? Maya, why are you here? Because of this. See? Mia wrote me a letter. Take care of Phoenix for me. Take care of... Huh? She means the office. This office. Someone has to help with the new Wright & Co. law offices, right? And who better but me, Maya Fey, reporting for duty. Wait, no, on second thought, let's make this casual. Yo, Nick, Maya here, ready to get down to business. You don't mind me calling you Nick, do you? It's a great name. Mia said that's what your friend Larry calls you. Nick? You know what this means? We're partners. You know, when I think about it, it is Maya's fault I'm here now. But if it wasn't for her, I'd probably be in jail. Wright & Co. law offices. It's got a good ring to it. Yeah. Thanks, Maya. Good luck, Phoenix. I'll always be here, watching. Right, okay, Nick, let's do it. Huh? Do what? Burgers, dummy, burgers. There's a great burger joint just down the street. Come on, time's a-wasting. Okay, wait up. Brand new episode has been added. All right, so we're going to save, and I am about a half hour over, so thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I hope that wasn't too much of a desecration of a beloved series. All right, as much as I'd love to do more of that. I will leave you with one parting image, though, as we find someone to host tonight. Who do we have? We have... Oh, we were talking about Kilgore Trout a little bit earlier. So let's give him a raid. He is currently playing Ultima 9 Ascension. So this is the stream that I was talking about when Isis was in here a little bit earlier. Again, thank you everybody for hanging out for Phoenix Wright. I will definitely be doing a bit more of this. I don't know if I'm going to alternate games while I... I've been doing a little bit of Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop as well. But I'm enjoying this one. I think what I really want to do is make sure that when I do an episode that I can kind of complete it over the course of of an evening. So I'd probably want to make sure that I have the full. I don't think I can actually make it bigger right now. Anyway, I do plan to be back on. I should be back on Wednesday. I will figure out if I'm doing. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I do also see that Revive Snow is streaming. I missed that she was there. So Kilgore and Revive Snow are both two wonderful options. I got nothing else. I'll see you all Wednesday. We'll figure out what we're playing then. Have a good night.